broadcast of this championship game is made possible by
the Cherokee Nation, our people, our culture, our history, our future. To learn more, go to visitcherokeenation.com and say hello to the Cherokee Nation.
The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Riggs Rents, Arkansas's rental equipment provider, from aerial lifts to dirt moving machines and everything in between. Our family-owned and operated business takes pride in serving our employees and customers. Riggs Rents, a proud supporter of Arkansas PBS Sports.
Farmers and Merchants Bank and the Bank of Fayetteville share the mission of Arkansas PBS to enrich and empower all Arkansans. Community, dignity, respect. That's what Me Banking is all about. More at mebanking.com.
Local broadcast of Arkansas PBS programming is made possible in part by Community Bakery. Scratch-made breads, pastries, cakes, treats, and locally roasted coffees. Served daily at 2 locations in Little Rock, 1200 Main and 270 Shackelford.
During the past year, we've been traversing the natural state with our cinematic drone, from lakes and rivers, waterfalls, scenic byways, mountains, swamps, overlooks, and towering rock formations. This unique documentation of all 4 seasons from all 4 corners of the state with an aerial cinematic perspective will give you, the viewer, an Arkansas adventure like never before.
Tonight at 9:30.
It's a rainy day in Little Rock, but that's not going to stop us for the 6A state championship game between the El Dorado Wildcats and the Greenwood Bulldogs here at War Memorial Stadium. Hello, everyone. I'm RJ Hawk alongside Bobby Swafford for today's clash in Class 6A. And, Bobby, we've got us a good one in this one because you've got the team from the south taking on the team from the north, and both are playing outstanding football right now.
These may be the 2 hottest teams in regardless of classification in the state of Arkansas. Kind of a slow start. Both of these teams started 2-2 on the season, 1 combined loss since that point. These 2 teams are red hot, and they are scoring points in bunches.
Well, let's start with the El Dorado Wildcats right now, and it really just runs through their quarterback because their quarterback's kind of a do-it-all guy for them. He runs, he passes, and that's Sharmon Rester, who has thrown for over 3,400 yards this year, 41 touchdowns. He's only had 5 interceptions. He's got a completion percentage this year of 63%. But he also does it on the ground with 834 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Anytime you've got a quarterback who's got a TD to interception ratio of 41-5, he's putting you in position to win. But 4,200 yards of total offense and 51 touchdowns. Those numbers speak for themselves, and that's a big reason why the Wildcats and that Power Cat on the side of their helmet is here in Little Rock.
He's currently ranked 3rd in the state in all classifications in passing yards, and he's just had a remarkable year for the El Dorado Wildcats. Now on the flip side, for the Greenwood Bulldogs, they also have a do-it-all quarterback.
They do, and Hunter Houston, he's missed 2 games, and he's still thrown for almost 3,000 yards, 8 yards shy of 3,000, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. But what's going to be a big factor today, RJ, his running ability. The top 3 running backs for the Bulldogs not going to be playing today. So Hunter Houston, 357 yards on the ground, 6 touchdowns as a quarterback. Look for him to get maybe 10, maybe even 15 carries.
And, you know, one thing about Hunter Houston, this was a kid that he missed 3 games this year due to injury. This Bulldog team has been beat up all year long. Recently having their 2 running backs gone, but this is not anything uncommon that they've had to battle through injuries.
I mentioned the 2-2 start. They lose to Benton in a game in which they led by, I believe it was 14 points or 13 points in the 4th quarter. But since that point, the defense has turned it up, which was started by a shutout of Lake Hamilton, who was ranked number 1 at the time, mind you. And so they found a way to get the defense going. That jump sparked the offense, and a huge come-from-behind win over Parkview last week, and that's why Greenwood is looking to repeat.
You know, you look at this team for Greenwood, and you talk about the running backs not being here, but you look over at those wide receivers. They've got some really, really good wide receivers.
And they spread the football out really well. 3 guys with over 50 catches for the Bulldogs. Actually, 3 guys with 60 catches all over 800 yards receiving. They've got weapons on the outside, so that's going to help soften the blow for the lock of the running backs.
When we come back, we will check out the brackets and how both teams got to War Memorial Stadium as you're watching the Centennial Bank State Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
This month on Arkansas PBS.
Join us for 20 years of Christmas with the Tabernacle Choir.
Join us and the students and faculty of Belmont University's School of Music
as we celebrate Christmas at Belmont.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown!
Only on Arkansas PBS.
Okay, Frisbee, let's remember, it's one bark for true and no barks for false. Arkansas PBS is Arkansas's largest classroom.
Bark!
Frisbee didn't eat my slippers. Oh, Frisbee, how could you?
No, I'm sorry, Miss House. I was gonna tell you, but it slipped my mind.
Please don't let it slip your mind and donate to Arkansas PBS today.
Bark!
Centennial Bank is committed to you. Since our founding in 1999, we've become one of the nation's most trusted banks by remembering that you come first, by empowering our communities to reach their highest potential through our dedication to local charities, education, and exceptional service. Because we are proud to call Arkansas home. Banking with you in mind. Centennial Bank, member FDIC.
There's Sharmon Rester, the quarterback for the Wildcats, as he's making his way to midfield for today's opening coin toss in the Class 6A state championship game between the Greenwood Bulldogs and the El Dorado Wildcats. And Bobby, let's go ahead and go over that road to War Memorial. And we'll first start with the El Dorado Wildcats. And just in the playoffs, you have West Memphis, you have Lake Hamilton and Marion. But boy, the numbers that they're putting up to get to this point, 47 points a game that they're scoring, giving up 27 points a game, but this is a team that's also had a shutout this season as well.
They've done it with offense. They've scored in bunches. They lost their conference opener to Jonesboro and haven't been touched since that point. They're the number 2 seed from the Eastern Conference, but they did what they had to do to get here to the Rock. And on the other side of the thing, Greenwood, also the number 2 seed. We're used to the Bulldogs being that top seed, being on top of the bracket. They had to work through some injuries, had a pair of conference losses, lost to Parkview, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, lost to Benton in the regular season. But once they got the defense rolling, how about a shutout of Lake Hamilton, a shutout of Van Buren, shutout Mountain Home in the playoffs, and then took over Parkview last week 45-35, a game in which they trailed by 14 points in the first half, and they rolled over the Patriots. And that's why we've got two of the hottest teams in 6A playing for a title.
Greenwood won the opening coin toss. They elected to defer, and the Wildcats of El Dorado will have the football to start the ball game. But before we do, let's head down the sidelines and check in with the third member of our broadcast team, Kyle Sutherland, who's on the sidelines. What's up, Kyle?
Guys, it's a little wet down here, but ready to go. Like you said, really hot offense with El Dorado, and then a really improved defense since they've gotten more healthy on that side of the ball from Greenwood. And so they're a little beat up. The Bulldogs are on offense, but you don't be surprised if this is one of those 45-40 games or even more so than that.
Kyle, I see you wearing the umbrella down there right now. How's the weather right now here at the stadium?
Based on what I'm seeing, it's looking like it's going to pass over, but right now it is a little wet and it's a little cold, but hey, we got football. Let's do it.
Looking at the forecast right now, throughout today's ball game, about a 15 to 20% chance of rain. I think all the hard stuff has made its way out, but it is an overcast sky at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock as the Greenwood Bulldogs have made their way onto the playing surface here at the stadium. The Wildcats of El Dorado on the far side. They are the visiting team in today's game. The Wildcats wearing those white uniforms with purple trim, and then Greenwood, the traditional blue uniforms with white trim and blue helmets. I tell you, you think about historic programs in the state, being in the state championship game, both these teams fit the mold.
Yeah, you're talking about a team with El Dorado who's got 9 state championships. Greenwood has got 10 state championships already. Bulldogs going to kick it off. And Kyle mentioned it there. We expect the highest scoring game. Greenwood averaging 480 yards of offense per game. El Dorado, they're a slouch. They're averaging 475. I mean, you're talking about almost a combined 900 yards between these two teams. This is going to be a shootout.
Ought to be a lot of fun, and both teams have made their way to the playing surface, and we're just about time for football in Arkansas. Your officials today are, your referee will be Colby Berna, center will be Richard Smith, the umpire today is Mark Gray, linesman Mark Johnson. Line judge is Jake Schrum, and your back judge is Sam Richardson. Back deep today for El Dorado, you'll have DeAndre Burns and Jackie Washington.
RJ, we talk about it every time you step onto the field, especially in the postseason. Who's going to land that first blow? Who's going to make the first big play? But maybe importantly, who's going to make the first big mistake that could swing momentum?
Ben Moy's got his hand in the air for the Greenwood Bulldogs, and we are underway in Little Rock for the 6A state championship game as this ball will head to the end zone for a touchback. And so the El Dorado Wildcats will get the ball 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line as we start the 6A state championship game.
We're going to get an early look at Sharmon Rester. We talked about his stats in the pregame, 4,200 yards, 51 touchdowns. The first time to play here at War Memorial Stadium and on the big stage. How does he handle the stage, and what is Greenwood's defense going to throw at him to try to get him off track?
Today's lineup for El Dorado, your wide receivers, DeAndre Burns Jr., 827 yards and 10 touchdowns this year, and Jackie Washington, the other wide receiver, with over 1,000 yards receiving and 15 touchdowns. Sharmon Rester, your quarterback, and Shadarius Plummer is your running back. Here's Rester. Gonna fake the handoff, keep it himself. Spins off of one. Boy, he is a shifty quarterback. But you almost think, Bobby, that it's a little slick out there after all the rain that came through earlier today.
Yeah, that looked like a prime opportunity to run the football between the tackles as Greenwood had just 4 defenders in the box. But you can tell they're collapsing, they're converging from the outside, and they want to make sure they contain Rester. That time they stretch him out and drop him for a yard loss behind the line.
Second down and 11. Working out of the pistol set for El Dorado. 2 wide receivers in the formation. Rester going to look to throw. Trying to hook up that time with R.J. Thomas and just underthrew him, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
That's a great defensive call there. Lou Honkala kind of on the delayed pressure. Once he saw the quarterback fake and roll back to his right, he was right in the face of Rester, forced an early throw, got in the passing lane, and now it's 3rd and long, a spot that no team wants to be.
You talked about it earlier. Set the tone for the ball game and figure out how you're going to play this opening drive. It's 3rd down and 11 as Rester's in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff. Looking to throw. Has a man out past the 30-yard line and out of bounds as he's able to pick up the 1st down and steps out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
Jackie Washington on the receiving end there. You mentioned his numbers, 1,100 yards. He just gets to the sticks there, turns around. The football's on the spot. As a defensive back, you've got to know they're going to run routes right at the sticks. And that time, the Greenwood defender gave too much cushion. Easy throw and catch and a 1st down, but you can see Washington limping a bit there for the Wildcats.
4 wide receivers in the set. Ball gets away from Rester, and he's able to pounce on it. Went right through his hands. It was a bit high, but it went right through his hands, and that's a big loss for the Wildcats.
11-yard loss all the way back to the 21, RJ, and that's where the slick elements, the conditions come into play there. Just goes, it was a high snap to begin with, goes right through the quarterback's hands, and they're now El Dorado way behind the sticks.
3 wide receivers in the set on the top side. Here's a handoff to Plummer. Plummer's got running room out to the 30-yard line to the 31-yard line, and that'll get it close to the original marker, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 11 now for El Dorado.
Plummer, 1,100 yards, averages 8.5 yards a carry this season for the El Dorado offense. Shows a little high step on the speed sweep to the outside, able to get back to that close to the original line of scrimmage, and now you've got yourself close to a 3rd and manageable.
Rester's in the shotgun with 3 wide receivers to the near side. Looking to throw under pressure. Still on his feet, and they blow the whistle dead. It's going to go as a sack for this Greenwood Bulldog defense back at the 25-yard line.
Tyler Crosno, the defensive end, you can see him right there, 42, just won the battle. He runs right around the right tackle. You can see him right there, a little swim move past number 75. He gets his hands on Rester. He's not letting go, and the Greenwood defense converges, and a big stop on the opening drive of the game for the Bulldog defense.
So on to punt for the Wildcats is going to be Sharmon Rester. Stick a foot into it, and it'll be fair caught at the 44-yard line. And so that's where Greenwood, they're going to start things off. Aiden Kennan was the the guy that made the fair catch, and we're going to have the Greenwood Bulldogs up now for their first drive of the ball game with great field position for their first drive.
Get your breath, RJ, because you're about to watch one of the fastest operating offenses in the state. Greenwood wants to snap the football with 35 seconds on the play clock. They're about to move, and they move in a hurry.
Here's a flag down as Hunter Houston is going to run with it out to the 49-yard line, but this penalty flag is going to be against Greenwood as they had two guys in motion as they took that snap.
Sometimes you try to get going too fast as an offense, and that's exactly what happened there. Didn't get set. Going to cost Greenwood 5.
So that's going to back up Greenwood. That'll put the ball at the 39-yard line. So it'll still be first down as Hunter Houston, we talked about his stats, 2,265 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions with a completion percentage of 61%. Houston looking to throw, goes across on the slant pattern. It was knocked away. Great job that time by El Dorado's Mario Ganter, the corner. 5'11", 163-pound senior that was able to get in there and knock it down.
Throw was a little behind his intended target, and that allowed Ganter to get that left hand in, swat it away, and now it's 2nd and 15 for Greenwood.
Man in motion for Greenwood. That was the slot man. Now here's a pass that he had to catch it back behind him. Great catch at the 45-yard line. That time it was L.J. Robbins who was able to make the catch and get it back to the original sticks and gain a yard. So it'll be 2nd or 3rd down and 9 now.
The pass actually not even intended for him. It was trying to get to 86 there for Greenwood. Grant Carnes goes through his hands, off the defender's hands, right to the hands of Kennan.
Here's Houston looking to throw under pressure. He's going to be taken down. Here's a fumble picked up by El Dorado. Going out to the 25-yard line as El Dorado gets a big-time turnover, and they'll have the ball inside the 20-yard line looking to score.
A great job by the El Dorado defense. Houston didn't get that ball tucked back in as he was being wrapped up by the El Dorado defender. Had it away from his body. He loses control on the slick football. And El Dorado catches a huge break. And they've got 1st and 10 knocking on the door. Chance to score first.
They're officially going to mark the ball at the 20-yard line. They were looking at the 19, but they pulled it back to the 20-yard line. So it's 1st and 10 for the Wildcats as Sharmon Rester comes out for his 2nd drive of the ball game. Rester gonna hand it off. Big hole up the middle. Left side goes Plummer. Touchdown.
That's just a numbers game, RJ. They fake like they're going to throw the bubble screen and a straight just lead play or an ISO play by the running back. And Greenwood only had 3 down linemen, 1 linebacker in the box, 5 on 4. That's easy numbers. And El Dorado on the board first.
1 play is all it took for the Wildcats to get on the board and open up the scoring in this 6A state championship game.
What a cut by Plummer.
Yeah. So on to kick is Rogemi. Kick is up, and it's good, and it's 7-0 Wildcats. As you're watching the Centennial Bank State Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
You're back. It's good to have you home, James.
The best practice in Glasgow. They've offered me a job, but to work out if there's something here worth staying for.
Oh, someone?
Helen.
I'd like to have danced with you again.
If your toes could take it.
Tristan!
Why don't you try standing up to him?
Have you met my brother? You know, I'm always open to new ideas.
I need to talk to you about Glasgow.
You belong here. This is your home.
This month in Passport on the PBS video app.
I'm on a journey to find holiday traditions that speak to me and my family.
This is a celebration of the light.
I'm Rick Steves. Join me. We'll see what 17th century financiers did with their mega riches.
Don't slap it. What did it do to you?
Join Bridget, Julia, and the rest of the America's Test Kitchen gang.
These and other shows from Arkansas PBS are available with Passport on the PBS video app.
Arkansas PBS makes it super easy to give. You can even set it up to make an automatic gift every month.
Well, El Dorado strikes first in this 6A state championship game. One play, 20 yards, took only 6 seconds, and they lead it 7-0 over the Greenwood Bulldogs. As the onside kick comes, it takes a big hop.
And go 10 yards.
And it never went 10, so Greenwood's going to get great field position after that onside kick. It did take a big hop, though.
I do. I like the idea. Stephen Jones, coach for El Dorado, rolling the dice early, but just didn't. That big hop prevented it from going 10 yards. An El Dorado player touched it, and that's what the flag's for. And so Greenwood's going to have great starting position as they try to make up for that turnover.
Bobby, is this a situation where Stephen Jones has so much confidence in his defense against this injury-plagued Greenwood offense?
I think it's a situation in which you know there's going to be a lot of points scored, and you're trying to steal possessions, to be quite honest. It's you're trying to make sure that you get more touches of the football than your opponent does, because an onside kick here, a turnover there, could very well be the difference in a game that we think is going to be really tight. It's the official mic not working, but he said what I just said, I think.
You were lip reading, were you?
Yes, from all the way up here.
So the ball's going to be officially spotted at the 39-yard line in El Dorado territory. So both second drives for both teams now, they get great starting field position. Now here's Hunter Houston, going to hand it off. Straight up the middle goes Aiden Kennan. And Kennan's going to get back to the original markers and it'll bring up second down.
Yeah, Greenwood without their top 3 running backs today, they're going to have to hand the football off to a few different options. Kennan, normally a receiver, 60 catches this year, almost 1,000 yards, but that time he lines up in the backfield.
Here's Hunter Houston. Now penalty flag on the far side of the field. It's going to be a false start penalty, and we'll get the official call. Well, it's going to be offsides against El Dorado.
You know, I think we talked about this last year, and of course nobody listens to me, but I would love to see that not a play blown dead. If the defense lines up offside, let them go ahead and run the play. But at the high school level, you line up in the neutral zone, automatically blown dead.
So it's now 2nd and 5 for Greenwood with the ball spotted at the 34-yard line.
You see the press coverage on the outside for El Dorado. They're just going to go man-to-man.
Hands it off to the running back. That was Cameron Crone, who takes it up to the 32. It's 2-yard gain to bring up 3rd down. Crone getting some unexpected playing time as Dylan Tucker was the scheduled running back, but after some issues back at school, he didn't make the trip this week.
Yeah, and Javon Williamson and Jake Glover both out for the rest of the season with a broken leg, so they're deep on the depth chart for Greenwood, and that one's going nowhere.
Hunter Houston tried to take it himself. It's 4th down after a 1-yard gain. You got to think this is 4th down territory.
You know, there's a little wind at the back of Greenwood, but this is kind of no man's land for most teams in high school. So that's probably why you also call that play, RJ. You go quarterback draw, thinking you may be able to pick up a yard or two, if not pop it for a 1st down, but you still got an extra chance to pick up this first.
Patrick Sixby was the one that made the tackle. Now here it is on 4th down. Houston rolling out, going to throw, has a man inside the 30. That's L.J. Robbins, who takes it in. Ball was on the turf. Did El Dorado get it? They did. They did. Another turnover for the El Dorado Wildcats.
They're trying to fight for extra yardage, RJ, and the initial contact didn't knock the football loose. Kind of an awkward tackle on the receiver. We'll take a look at it here. And the ball appeared to come out, and El Dorado jumped on it.
I don't know. He may have been down, Bobby.
Couldn't tell from that angle.
We do have an official replay in all the state championship games, so they'll look at it, and if they think that it needs to be replayed, they'll radio down to the officials on the field.
So it's good.
Charmon Rester is in the shotgun as he'll take the snap. Going to go big ball downfield, and he overthrows DeAndre Burns Jr.
That's good coverage on the outside. It was just one-on-one. And Colin Daggett on stride for stride with the El Dorado receiver. That one overshoots everybody.
So that brings up 2nd down and 10 with the ball at the 22-yard line.
This was kind of a similar start to last year. If you flash back to the Lake Hamilton Greenwood game, Bulldogs fell down 10-0 before storming back. Turning the football over, giving this offense extra possessions. Not a good recipe for success.
Rester Gonna fake the handoff. Go with the screen pass outside. Has R.J. Thomas and is able to pick up about 5 yards on the play to bring up 3rd down for the Wildcats.
Levi Russell up to make the play in space. Get about half of it there just on the wide receiver screen. Nice job to get out in front and blocked by DeAndre Burns. It's the underrated part of receivers in a spread offense. Sometimes you got to get out there and block for your teammates.
Rester gonna hand it off to Plummer. Plummer goes right side, takes it out to the 30-yard line, picks up a couple, and that brings up 4th down.
Nice job by Parker Gill, number 15, to come down the line to track down Plummer from behind. That easily could have been enough yardage for 1st down, but you're going to see Gill here comes directly down the line, makes the play from behind. That's exactly how you teach the technique of a defensive end to play that option read.
El Dorado's going to go for it on 4th down. Ball's at the 30. They got to pick up 2 yards for the 1st. Rester's in the shotgun with 4 wide receivers in the formation. And we've got a whistle and a false start as jumping before the snap was Jackie Washington, and that'll back him up 5 yards.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want. If you're El Dorado, you think you're going to roll the dice again, go for it, and one of your receivers jumps off sides with nowhere to go. That was a dummy call going with the hard count. And when your receivers jumps off sides, and if you're Stephen Jones when he comes to the sideline, the first question you ask, where are you going?
Yeah.
You haven't been called a play yet.
So on to punt for El Dorado is Sharmon Rester. Back deep is Aiden Kennan. End over end kick. It's fair caught at the 38-yard line. And so it'll be 1st and 10 for Greenwood with 4:58 to play here in the 1st quarter. Hey, let's head down to Kyle Sutherland on the field. Kyle, I know that the weather conditions have lightened up a little bit, but what are you seeing on the Greenwood sideline?
Well, they're still keeping positive thoughts for sure, but overall, guys, this is exactly the opposite of what we thought it was going to be. We thought by now it might be, 21-all or something like that, but El Dorado stepping up. They've definitely got the momentum right now on both sides of the ball.
Turnovers have been the issue so far for the Bulldogs. Now we can see that this is going to be their 3rd possession, as we've got an issue with the official way back on the other end of the field. You see they're changing the batteries on his microphone.
That you got to make sure we hear him, right?
We can guess what the penalties are, but generally we like to know exactly what they are.
First and 10 as Hunter Houston is going to throw downfield. And we've got a penalty marker down as Aiden Kennan was taken to the ground. And we'll get the official call.
Pass interference, defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Just a little too much contact there, RJ. Marquise Waller, the safety for El Dorado. Looked like he got there just a touch too early. Their feet got tangled up, but you could see that right arm got a hand on the receiver, and the back judge saw it and tossed the hanky.
1st and 10 now, ball at the 47-yard line. They're bringing the pressure this time. Pops it into the air, and that time getting his paw on it for El Dorado was Javin Stewart. And Stewart, boy, they went with an all-out blitz that time. There was nobody in the secondary. Yeah, they will knock that ball up.
That was a set to be a tunnel screen. And you mentioned they brought the extra pressure. If that ball's not deflected, that might have been a big play for the Bulldogs. But either way, it goes for naught. And Greenwood lucky that one just fell to the turf.
2nd and 10. Hunter Houston takes the snap, looking to throw. Sets up the screen left side to Robbins. Robbins has open lanes. He's going to take it to the house. 10-5 touchdown.
They tried to go the tunnel screen the play before, and that screen could not have been executed more perfectly, and it could not have been more wide open as L.J. Robbins makes a house call.
Well, there was nobody on that left side of the field, and on to kick now for Greenwood will be Ben Moy. to try to tie this ball game up with 4:37 to play in the first quarter.
You got to give a great job to Jeremiah Presson, 55 for Greenwood. The offensive lineman gets out in space, picks up a big block as the PAT is up and good. And those linemen don't like to chase down secondary members too often, but a great job by Presson for Greenwood. He threw the key block, and we've got a tie game.
2 plays, 62 yards in 21 seconds after the 47-yard run by L.J. Robbins. And let's head down to Kyle Sutherland on the field. I imagine the mood down there, Kyle, is a bit different right now.
Yeah, just a second ago I was talking about how they were trying to stay positive. Now they're jacked up. That was exactly what they needed for Greenwood. And like you guys said, they tried that screen play just a second ago. It worked for them perfectly this time.
He asked for the offense, and we got some offense 2 plays later. I think that's going to be more indicative of what we're going to see the rest of this contest. Maybe the nerves are starting to settle in both ways. Going to understand that initial wave these two teams have got, Kyle. And I think we're ready to see some big-time football.
So on the field come the El Dorado Wildcats as back deep. They will have DeAndre Burns and Jackie Washington. On to kick for Greenwood is Ben Moy. Puts a foot into it, end over and kick. That's going to sail into the end zone for a touchback. Boy, he's got a big leg, doesn't he?
Such a weapon. So few high schools have the luxury of having a kicker who could put it into the end zone. But when you've got a guy with a leg like Greenwood does, and you don't have to worry about the big play on special teams, that makes life so much easier for a coach. You can celebrate game day under the arches. Access to tons of benefits through our rewards program. It's available today on the McDonald's app. RJ, we're loving it.
I do love it. I love this how this 6A game's going right now. We've got a tie ball game between El Dorado and Greenwood. Sharmon Rester is in the shotgun with a back to his left. That's Plummer with 4 wide receivers in the set. Plummer pick up about 3 yards on the play, and that'll bring up second down.
You can see it across the way, RJ. That contingent behind the visiting team has gotten larger and larger as we're creeping up on the latter parts of the first quarter. I'm not sure anybody's left in El Dorado.
Well, and there's a large crowd over on the Greenwood side as well. It'll be a great attended game today for the 6A state championship game. Brings up second down and 7 with the ball at the 23-yard line. Rester's going to keep it himself. Works around the right side. He's got some speed as he gets out past the first down sticks to the 32-yard line. And it'll be a new set of downs for the Wildcats.
Plummer's normally the running back, but that turn he turns into the lead blocker for his quarterback. Gets a key seal block on the outside. Allows his quarterback to get past the first down yardage. Get a fresh set of downs.
Under 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter. As Sharmon Rester is going to have double sets on either side. He'll put Plummer on his right side now. Faking the handoff, looking to throw. And it's intercepted at the 50-yard line. Taken by Greenwood. That's Braden Skaggs that's going to be able to come up with the interception as he takes it out to the 39-yard line, and Greenwood has the opportunity to take the lead.
It's a great job by the Greenwood defense. They stretch Rester out. They get a body in his face, and that one just well overthrown, and Skaggs in perfect position from his safety spot. Ball comes right to him, and Greenwood's in business.
Hunter Houston brings the offense back out. He'll be the only man in the backfield. Gonna look to throw. Goes right side to Robbins. Robbins has a running lane. Right side. Goes out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Picks up the first down and more.
Nice job by the longtime coach Joe Fred Young. Show a little agility on the sideline. Which is the father of Greenwood head coach Chris Young. A lot of wins in that family.
First and 10. Here's the handoff. Right side. Goes the running back that time, Cameron Crone. And Crone is able to pick up a nice gain of 9 yards to bring up second down.
The short passing game is going to open up some lanes for the running game for Greenwood, and that's what they're counting on.
Here's Crone again, out past the 15-yard line, diving out to the 11. Boy, for the four-string running back, he's not doing too bad, is he?
Well, it's next man up mentality. And when you're playing for a state championship, I don't care if you started number 9 on the depth chart. You're going to give it all you got behind that offensive line. It makes your job easier.
Here's a handoff. Left side goes to Kennan. He gets bottled up in the backfield. This will be about a 4-yard loss.
It's a great job by the defensive front for El Dorado there to snuff out that play over the left side. And you can see him split the double team there. Big 84 for El Dorado. Demarion Rester, 6'1", 230-pound senior, makes the play in the backfield.
So that brings up 2nd down and 14 with the ball at the 16-yard line. Hunter Houston, 4 of 6 passing for 78 yards and a touchdown so far today. Houston looking to throw, trying to make a sliding catch was his wide receiver that time, Luke Brewer. And that'll bring up 3rd down.
Brewer's the big play target for the Greenwood offense, and that one just a little low, a little behind Brewer as he tried to get him on the post route. He was open. There was a passing lane there. Just couldn't haul it in as it gets to his body. Got to make a hands catch there.
So 3rd down and 14. Hunter Houston fakes the handoff. He's going to look to throw. Steps up. Still looking. And goes to try to find his wide receiver, L.J. Robbins, in the end zone. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, the Greenwood fans don't like that call as there's a lot of contact in the end zone. El Dorado got called for 1 pass interference already in this first quarter. Might have got away with one there. As that throw for the end zone, you can see a lot of contact. Definitely got there early. Ball was also underthrown.
He was also falling down as well. I mean, you got to take all that into consideration. Just because there was contact, he was already on the ground whenever the contact was made. Here's Moyon for the field goal as it's up and right down Broadway. Boy, yeah, he's got a heck of a leg for Greenwood, and so Greenwood takes the lead 10-7 after the field goal by Ben Moy. And that's their first lead of the ball game.
Knocks that one home from 34 yards out. Officially 33. And Greenwood fell down early, had 2 fumbles, 2 turnovers. And all of a sudden, the Bulldogs have a lead.
I don't think we expected to see this many turnovers in the game so far between both these teams. You know, usually you think of these two teams as teams that are very fundamentally sound, and you don't see a lot of turnovers, but you've seen a couple from Greenwood, saw one from El Dorado so far.
Yeah, you know, Chris Young actually said it best on the conference call earlier this week. You know, when you expect the game to go out and be 52-51, that's when you get that defensive slugfest of 24-21. You really know how a game's going to play out. Of course, those guys on the other side of the football, well, they don't get paid, but they're playing their guts out too, and they're pretty good. That's why they're here in the state championship game. You got to believe at some point the dam will break, and there's going to be a flood of points. But again, you got to see how the game plays out. And the conditions, RJ, could have a huge impact on the rest of this game. If the rain starts to lighten up, maybe we'll start to see the points light up the scoreboard.
How about this so far? Total yards for both teams. Greenwood's got 75. El Dorado's got 45.
Yeah, they took advantage of the short field goal, did the Wildcats. But other than that one Palmer 20-yard run, they haven't been able to get the offense going.
So Ben Moy on to kick. His first 2 kicks have sailed through the end zone. This one in the air, and it'll be taken at the 5-yard line. Out by Burns. Burns works it on the right side out to the 30-yard line, and that's where El Dorado's going to have it. 1st and 10 at the 31.
Makes the catch right at the 5, and it picks up an extra 10 yards by not letting that one sail over his head and go into the end zone. So that's plus yardage in the special teams, and we'll see if the Eldo offense can take advantage of it.
Time of possession so far in this game. El Dorado's had it for 5 minutes and 11 seconds. Greenwood's had it for 3 minutes and 3 seconds.
Had 4 possessions already.
Yeah.
Greenwood.
Sharmon Rester brings a man in motion. Gonna hand it to him. Brings it near side. That's DeAndre Burns who gets swallowed up in the backfield. He'll lose yards on the play as the ball goes to the 29-yard line. It's a loss of 2 yards on the play.
Colt Owenby does a great job just kind of mirroring that speed sweep. He keeps outside leverage, and you can see him swoop in here and chop down the rusher. It's a great open field tackle by Owenby, and again puts El Dorado behind the sticks.
2nd down and 12, ball at the 29. Takes the snap, fakes it. Gonna keep it himself as he's gonna pick up about 5 yards on the play as they'll take it out to the 35-yard line.
Now, one thing I've noticed, RJ, with the option read, there's been a lot of contact between Rester and his running back. They're not necessarily running into each other, but it's not a clean exchange. You see them here. The running back didn't necessarily let him just pull the football out easily. So it slows you down for a half a tick and allows the defense to converge.
Officially a 6-yard gain. It's 3rd down and 6. Rester puts Plummer on the right side of him. Gonna take it himself. Works around a block, gets the first down, out to the 45. And it'll be taken down at the 47-yard line.
That's a great job by Plummer, the lead blocker. We saw him earlier in this quarter get a lead block in the first down. He actually doesn't have outside leverage, number 10 at the top of your screen, but look at what he does. He's able to seal off 21 for Greenwood, Honkala, and that allows his quarterback to get first down yardage.
3 wide receivers on the near side of the formation. Here's Plummer, gonna take it himself, has a running lane, out past the 50, still on his feet, picks up the first down, out to the 41-yard line.
Plummer showing he's not just a lead blocker, he can tote the rock as well. Already got a 20-yard touchdown, his 20th of the season. And if I'm El Dorado, I'm feeding number 10, averaging almost 9 yards a carry on the season. Feed the beast in the backfield.
Into Greenwood territory they go as there's 3 wide receivers to the near side. Rester's in the shotgun. Hands it up, no fakes it, goes right with it. Still on his feet, out past the 35-yard line.
Parker Gill thought he had him in the backfield, but Rester did a nice job of taking that contact, bouncing to the outside, and picks up positive yardage of 7.
They're going to spot the ball at the 34-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down. It was a pickup of 7 yards on the play. Rester looking to throw. And he just throws it to the feet of Jackie Washington. I don't think that play went exactly like they wanted to because Plummer actually left a little bit early and he went right and there was just nobody anywhere that he wanted to go to.
The eyes of the defense was supposed to follow the running back to the right, and this is tunnel screen set back up to the left of the offense, but Greenwood had a defender standing right in the passing lane. Smart play by Rester to just bury the football at the feet of his lineman and live to fight on another down. Because if he throws that tunnel screen, RJ, that's a pick.
Yeah. 3rd down and 3. Gonna keep it himself, picks up the first down, out to the 25, gets taken down at the 23-yard line.
Anytime they go 3rd and short, they're relying on their quarterback Rester as the first quarter expires. El Dorado's knocking on the door of the red zone.
And that's going to do it for the first quarter. Greenwood, they lead El Dorado 10-7, and you're watching the Centennial Bank State Football Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
For every moment, for every memory, from that first car to your first home, to your first child, and all the highs and lows that tomorrow might bring. For everything that matters most to you and your family, there's someone right around the corner dedicated to helping you protect what you love. Your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
Broadcast of this championship game is made possible by
the Cherokee Nation, our people, our culture, our history, our future. To learn more, go to visitcherokeenation.com and say hello to the Cherokee Nation.
The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Riggs Rents, Arkansas's rental equipment provider, from aerial lifts to dirt moving machines and everything in between. Our family-owned and operated business takes pride in serving our employees and customers. Riggs Rents, a proud supporter of Arkansas PBS Sports.
Farmers and Merchants Bank and the Bank of Fayetteville share the mission of Arkansas PBS to enrich and empower all Arkansans. Community, dignity, respect. That's what me banking is all about. More at mebanking.com.
Local broadcast of Arkansas PBS programming is made possible in part by Community Bakery. Scratch-made breads, pastries, cakes, treats, and locally roasted coffees. Served daily at 2 locations in Little Rock, 1200 Main and 270 Shackelford.
Arkansas PBS offers all the football games and more on demand starting next week. Just go to youtube.com/Arkansas PBS.
We start the second quarter, 10-7. Greenwood leads El Dorado as El Dorado's got it at the 23-yard line. Here's Rester with the football. Out to the 20-yard line, and he'll pick up 4 yards on the play.
They're just relying on the legs of the quarterback. That's his 8th rushing attempt. Got about 41 yards now for the quarterback for El Dorado. So he's got the huge passing numbers on the season, but when the offense has been clicking today, it's been on the ground with the quarterback.
Here's the thing. Sharmon Rester has run for 834 yards on the season. I mean, he's almost a 1,000-yard rusher as a quarterback. Rester looking to throw. Still looking. Goes to the end zone. Had a man for a brief moment and let him too far. That time trying to hook up with R.J. Thomas.
He had enough time, and finally his protection started to break down. Parker Gill was right in his face, and he was kind of leaning towards the sideline. Wasn't able to step into that throw. As you're going to watch the footwork here, he kind of steps away, can't get his body into it, can't get squared up, and that ball kind of sails on him and leads his receiver too much.
So that brings up 3rd down and 7 with the ball at the 20-yard line. Rester has Plummer to his right. Fakes the handoff once again. Looks to throw. Goes to the end zone. Is it intercepted? It is. It is an interception for the Greenwood Bulldogs. Coming down with it. That time it was once again Braden Skaggs with his 2nd interception of the ball game.
What a great job by Skaggs to make a play on the football. It was a little bit underthrown. It kind of held up in the wind just a touch, and that gave Skaggs time to adjust to the football in the air and makes a great play. Overpowers the El Dorado defender, and here's a great look at it. Has great position, and he just wins the hand fight for it. And what a defensive stop for the Bulldogs in the red zone.
2nd interception for Skaggs, and now Greenwood, has a 1st and 10 with the ball at the 20-yard line. They're going to go with 4 wide receivers in the set. Houston looks to throw, overthrows his intended target that time as he was trying to hook up with Aiden Kennan.
That pressure just got to his face right away. It looked like Jaron Stewart, 6 foot, 222-pound linebacker for El Dorado, came in, just blew up the running back, which was the personal protector for the quarterback rolling right, and Houston had to unload that one before he was ready. That's a big frame coming off the edge.
So they'll put 3 wide receivers in the formation on the top side. Houston, inside tunnel screen, and this is intercepted. This time the big defensive lineman for El Dorado was able to come up with it. Josh Hill, the 5'11", 272-pounder, was able to get an interception.
That's a great job of recognizing the tunnel screen was coming. El Dorado's defense was all over that. And Greenwood's built their offense on this quick passing game with a great defensive play. And again, that was number 15 who made the deflection. Stewart, he saw it coming, read it perfectly, got a hand on it, and allowed his big defensive lineman to come in and make the pick.
So it's 1st and 10 for the El Dorado Wildcats now. Back and forth we go. This has turned into a defensive battle for both these schools. They're going to go 4 wide in the formation. Plummer's going to be offset right of Rester.
3 turnovers already for the Bulldogs offense.
And I hand it off to Plummer. Off the left side, inside the 10, inside the 5. Going for the pylon, and he'll be taken out of bounds at the 1.
We've seen Rester just keep the ball so many times on that option read. They finally hand it to Plummer. Going down the left side, gets a couple key blocks from his receivers. And El Dorado now at the 2, got a chance to take the lead.
Ball spotted at the 2. It's 1st and goal. 4 wide receivers stacked on either side. Plummer right behind Rester. Gonna hand it off. straight up the middle. Touchdown, Wildcats.
That's just straight ahead. Plummer, touchdown number 21 on the season, number 2 today. And El Dorado weathered that storm from Greenwood. Their defense got them a short field, and they take advantage of that short field for the second time already in this first half.
Wildcats take a 13-10 lead on the Greenwood Bulldogs with 10:40 to play here in the first half. So on to kick for El Dorado. It's going to be Adogdu. And it's blocked. The extra point is blocked. And with that, it's a 3-point game, 13-10, with 10:40 to play here in the first half. As you're watching the Centennial Bank State Football Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett, wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday Season. With our busy lives today, we often forget the greatest gift of Christmas. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. I hope all of us will take the time and share the love of Christ this season. May your holidays be filled with joy and blessings. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from all of us at Everett.
Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about? We need a Christmas tree. A great, big, shiny aluminum Christmas tree. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown!
Special thanks to Community Bakery for providing food for our crew and their continued support of Arkansas PBS.
You been to Community Bakery before?
Not.
Oh my goodness, you were missing out. On to kick for El Dorado is Adogdu.
Trickeration on the kickoff.
As it's able to tightrope the sidelines and not go out of bounds, and goes to the back of the end zone. Hey, let's head down to the sideline real quick and check in with Kyle Sutherland. He's got an update on those Greenwood Bulldogs.
Guys, about a handful of turnovers already in this one, and El Dorado obviously just responded there, but I want to highlight Braden Skaggs from Greenwood real quick, just a sophomore taking over for one of the injured players that you guys talked about. Already 2 interceptions in this game, so this one's living up to the hype that we thought it was going to be.
Thank you, Kyle. Here's Houston throwing out right side to L.J. Robbins, and he'll go out of bounds and pick up a nice gain of 6 yards on the play as they take it out to the 26-yard line.
El Dorado player looks like tying a shoe, but we've got to stop it to play for something.
Looks like
they're making 25 for El Dorado leave the game. That's Raquel Williams. If he's got blood or if the helmet might have came off. He looks to be fine.
Outside screen, back to Robbins. He's hitting the backfield. Loss of 2 yards on the play, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
El Dorado's pressing the Greenwood receivers so tightly at the line of scrimmage that these quick passes just aren't able to get any space because the defense is already there. They're not having to break on the football and come up. They're just smothering the receivers at the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 5. Ball at the 25-yard line.
Brewers manned up one-on-one on the top of your screen.
No safety help in this formation, and now we've got a El Dorado Wildcat, Patrick Sixby, who jumped off sides, and that'll be a free 5 yards for Greenwood.
Encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's going to be really close to a 1st down.
3rd and a piece of paper.
Or they do it as they do in the NFL, the index card.
Actually, I mean, if the ball's touching the 30, it should be a 1st down because it was a touchback on the kickoff.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, that should be a 1st down.
I think that's what Greenwood coach Chris Young's saying. He's saying the same thing you are, is if the ball were to go up to the 30, that would be a 1st down at that point. It's almost a semantics thing on where you put the ball down, but if you go a true 5 yards, you would think that it'd be a 1st down.
Yep. So if the ball was touching the 25 previously, Of course, it's been moved since that, but if the ball was touching the 25 before the penalty, it should be a first down. It looks like it's just an inch or three shy of that 30-yard line.
Al, can you see where the ball is laying right now as far as whether or not it should be a first down?
Since our family in 1999,
I don't think Kyle heard us, but either way, I mean, it's it looks like the officials are gonna say it's third down. So third down and inches.
There's Gene Steratore in that index card when you need it.
Yeah, I know, right? So the Bulldogs are gonna go into a bunch formation. Gonna hand it off, and he'll be swarmed in the backfield. They're going to say it's right at the line of scrimmage. He got a forward progress, but once again,
it's going to depend on which official marks it. And the Greenwood offensive lineman slow to get up, and he might not have gotten there.
Well, based on where the spot is now, Bobby, that looks like it's less than where it was before.
They're going to say he lost a
half an inch.
Yeah. So now it's decision time for Greenwood. You think that you can trust your offensive line to get that next extra 6 inches, but El Dorado did a great job defensively to shut it down there. And this is a big decision with 9:39 left here in the first half. It's easy to make this call. If we're sitting up here in the booth, you're sitting at a pizza joint in Fayetteville watching this game in Jonesboro, it doesn't matter. But if you're Greenwood, I think I probably trust my offensive line.
I know Kyle is standing right there at the 30-yard line. Kyle, how close is that?
9-4.
It's very close, guys. I really think that was probably the good spot. I couldn't really see because there was a pile in front of me there, but it seems to me like they made the right call.
The injured player for Greenwood that time was Hayden Leonard, the offensive lineman. We'll get an injury update here momentarily. 4th down and inches. Houston going to take it himself. He's going to get across the 30-yard line and pick up the first down. Boy, that was a bit scary for the Bulldogs there for a minute.
You know, it's 15, 20 years ago, everybody lines up under center. It's an automatic quarterback sneak on pressure. Yeah. Now you line up in the shotgun. You've got to run forward 5 yards. Nice job by Houston to move the chains.
Here's Houston looking to throw. Gets away from one defender, and he'll be sacked in the backfield. That time taking him down for the El Dorado Wildcats was Jyren Stewart.
We've called his name a bunch already in the first 15 minutes of this game. 15 in white and purple are making plays all over the field. He made the deflection on the interception. This time he tracks down Houston and gets the sack.
6-yard loss. It brings up 2nd down and 16. Houston looking to throw. Avoids one tackler. Throws it downfield, and it's way out of the reach of L.J. Robbins. And that brings up 3rd down and 16 now.
Stewart again came untouched from the left side of the offense, and Houston has to run for his life. Avoids Stewart in the backfield, but had to throw that one away, and now it's 3rd and long for Greenwood. You have to locate 15 and find out where he's lined up, because he's wreaking havoc for Greenwood's offense right now.
5 wide receivers in the formation. Houston looking to throw. Has a man, it's off his fingertips. That time it goes off the fingertips of his wide receiver, Grant Carnes.
Carnes, just a freshman. They brought him up at the end of the junior high season and had a great route. He was wide open on the near side, had plenty of real estate to pick up a first down, but just didn't secure the catch. And Greenwood sends out the punt team.
So back deep for El Dorado on the punt return. You're going to have DeAndre Burns as well as Terenzo Dunn. Nice punt. Going to be taken by Burns. Works it up past the 45 to the 49-yard line. And that's where El Dorado will have it 1st and 10 with 8:37 to play here in the 2nd quarter.
Don't forget, coming up at the half, we got the Arkansas PBS halftime show with David Basil. We'll see how COVID vaccines affected football in Fordyce. We're going to hear about a special homecoming at UAPB, and we're going to meet Dylan Williams of the Lake Hamilton Wolves. Speaking of those Red Bugs, they're going to be here next weekend.
How about that game last night? 7-6 final score between them and Clarendon. 1st and 10, ball at the 49-yard line. 4 wide receivers in the set. Rester going to hand it off on a delay. and gets it into Greenwood territory after picking up 4 yards.
It's a nice job to adjust to that play. That's the same one that they scored on in that first quarter for El Dorado. Greenwood recognized at that time and able to slow it down just to a gain of 4.
Second down and 6. Here's Rester looking to throw, has a man. Left side, gets it out to Washington. Washington picks up the first down and gets it out to the 37-yard line.
And Washington was left wide open. A couple receivers clear out, run go routes, and he just sneaks underneath him to the far flat. An easy throw, an easy first down for El Dorado.
First and 10, officially spotted at the 36-yard line. Rester gonna throw right side, that time to Burns. Burns out past the 30-yard line to the 25 and gets knocked out of bounds at the 22-yard line. He's able to pick up another first down, and they keep moving those chains.
Nice job by R.J. Thomas. He's not going to get his name in the paper for that play, but made a nice block, sprung the big play.
First and 10. Rester takes the shotgun snap, now going to keep it himself. Straight up the middle. Penalty flags down back at the 21-yard line. And look at that pile. Rester just kept his feet going all the way out to the 11-yard line.
Have to check the flag, though. This one may be coming back. Didn't know if it comes in from behind the play. It's going to be a hold.
During the run, holding, offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
Already the 6th penalty on El Dorado. If you got to find one negative for the Eldo offense, maybe that's it. There's a couple of those penalties where they jumped off sides, but holdings are drive killers, RJ, but it still happens on first down, so they still got 3, if not 4 tries to make it up.
13-10's our score. El Dorado trying to punch in another one before the half.
Following the penalty, first down and 19.
Rester's in the shotgun, first and 19. Gonna hand it off to Plummer. He's gonna go left side, gets around one block, gets it out to the 25 and goes out of bounds. Here's a penalty flag with a late hit out of bounds.
We're gonna get Greenwood with that sling down. They run him out of bounds with that extracurricular right at the very end of the play. That's going to completely negate that penalty and should be close to a first and goal if it's not for the Wildcats.
And here's the thing. Look at that. I mean, you're well out of bounds when he throws him down. That's a well-warranted penalty flag. Let's get the call.
After the play was over, personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. Defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
It's a big, big penalty, Bobby, as that'll take the ball all the way down to the 11-yard line.
Moves it just inside the 12. And you mentioned our Jets. They can pick up a first down, but essentially they're first and goal +1. This could be Plummer time.
So Rester, he'll have 3 receivers to the near side of the formation. And now we've got a whistle and another penalty flag.
There's movement up front. That's going to go back 5.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
The pace of the game is definitely slowed significantly. El Dorado's doubled up Greenwood in total yards. They've held the Bulldogs to -5 compared to the 104 on the ground for the Wildcats.
And I think, though, that you didn't expect a huge running game out of Greenwood.
No.
I mean, based on all the injuries that they've had, and you just didn't come into this game going, well, Greenwood's just going to run the ball just a whole lot.
We talked about the 3 players that they're missing. That's 1,600 yards and 29 touchdowns.
Here's Rester. Penalty flags down. Rester's going to run with it. Going to work around defenders. And he'll be taken down inside the 10-yard line and around the 7, but hold everything because that's probably going to come back.
As an offensive lineman, you'll argue that you never hold, but when 2 officials throw a flag at you, you probably did.
Yeah.
During the run, holding, offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
And here's the thing, Bobby. Like, I know you are a defender of offensive linemen.
I am.
But when you go and grab the inside part of that shoulder pad and it is up around his chin, no, it's not. Not when you go off the. If you stay on the outside, but when you start wrapping this guy up, that's.
As an offensive lineman, you live by one adage: if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Oh.
Do everything you can to win the block.
Rester gonna hand it off to Plummer. He's got a big running lane inside the 20, inside the 15, down to the 6-yard line. He'll fall forward at the 5, and that's a big time run by Plummer.
Everybody thinks it's going to be passed. It's 2nd and 29, and they go draw play. Huge hole up the middle. Great job by that offensive line to seal it, and Plummer does the rest, and now they've got a chance to convert.
2nd and 3. Plummer gets hit in the backfield. Drop for a 1-yard loss, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Owenby just came down the line. He recognized that. He had number 10 dead set in the crosshairs, and he makes the play in the backfield. A couple times now we've seen Greenwood come down the line perfectly and make a play on Plummer.
El Dorado can still get a first down if they get the ball to the 1-yard line. 3rd down and 4. Ball at the 6-yard line. Rester going to take the shotgun snap, look to throw. Rolls outside. Looking, still running, still on his feet, and he goes out of bounds at the 2-yard line. So it's a 3-yard run. It'll bring up 4th down and 1. Bobby, put your coach hat on. What are you going to do right here?
The most important thing is El Dorado can get a first down without scoring.
Yeah.
And so that's the big thing. And what that's been on 3rd and short and 4th and short all day has been Rester running the football. I think this is probably going to be an option read of some sort, if not the lead play, where they get Plummer out in front on the perimeter to block for his quarterback. But I expect number 1 and White to keep the football.
4th and 1, ball at the 2. Rester puts Plummer back behind him. There's 4 wide receivers in the set. Rester gonna hand it off. We've got a whistle and a penalty flag.
They got a delay of game. Didn't get it off in time. We're gonna hand it off to Plummer.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
They were gonna give it to Plummer that time. It would have been an easy walk in for a touchdown, but now they're backed up. It's gonna be 4th and 6 from the 7.
Yeah, that makes your 4th down a lot different than having 4th and 1 at the 2.
I still don't think the run game with the quarterback's out of the equation, but if you're Greenwood, you've got to keep an eye on number 1. Make sure he didn't get out of the pocket on you.
Rester, high snap, looking to throw, goes back in the end zone, too tall, has a turnover on downs. Greenwood gets a stop.
It's the 2nd time we've seen the Bulldogs come up with a stop in the red zone. First one was an interception that time. Just great coverage. The pass well overthrown, but his target wasn't open either way. And what we thought was going to be a slugfest offensively has turned into a defensive battle.
Yeah, it really has. And both these teams have put up stands so far. And now it's back in time for Greenwood to take it over at the 7-yard line. Greenwood looks to throw. Houston Ebbing out to Robbins, and he'll be bottled up at the line of scrimmage. That is a great job by the Wildcats as Bryson Bolden was able to make the stop.
The stuff at the line of scrimmage is just not there. El Dorado is playing press coverage across the board, and so many white jerseys around the football as soon as they make the catch. And they're not missing tackles. Last night we saw a lot of open field missed tackles in the Whitehall-Pulaski Academy game. We're not seeing it tonight here in the 6A final.
Here's Houston looking to throw, has a man. That time hooking up with Kennan, and Kennan's going to go out of bounds at the 19-yard line. That'll be a first down for the Greenwood Bulldogs.
It's a big first down, RJ. You've got to get out of the shadow of your own goalpost. Give your defense a break. Try to stay on the field as time of possession is 2-1 in favor of El Dorado.
Here's Houston looking to throw, has Kennan once again. Kennan out past the 30-yard line. That's going to be a first down as they're going to officially spot it at the 32.
Greenwood the counter for the press coverage, rub routes, and pick plays. And Greenwood's taken advantage of it the last 2 times. Get some crossing receivers, get a lot of bodies in the area to slow down that defender and give you a path to the outside.
Here's a pass at the line of scrimmage, and it was out to Robbins, who's going to lose a yard, maybe 2 on the play, and that'll bring up 2nd down.
Nice job defensively to come out and just make the one-on-one play. I believe that was Josh Hayes, the safety.
2nd down and 11. Houston rolling right, under pressure, and he's going to be taken down for a sack. That was Emmaus Young coming up from his defensive line position and getting the sack.
There's just nothing there for Greenwood. Designed to roll out to the right, and the El Dorado defense moved the line of scrimmage back right into the lap of Houston, and there's nothing he could do about it, and Young is there to gobble him up.
6-yard loss. It's 3rd down and 17.
Empty backfield. Bring the pressure if you're El Dorado. Here they come.
Houston looking to throw, under pressure once again. He throws it up, and it's knocked to the dirt, almost intercepted. And Greenwood's going to look to punt.
Dangerous, dangerous there. As soon as El Dorado saw the back motion out of the backfield and they go 5 wide, empty backfield, they just brought the house. And Houston had to backpedal and throw it up, and he got lucky that one wasn't picked off.
So on to punt is going to be Noah Jansen for Greenwood. Back deep for El Dorado, you've got DeAndre Burns as well as Terenzo Dunn. The end-over-end punt goes to Dunn, and he'll pick it up at the 41 and go out of bounds, as he'll step out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
El Dorado's got a chance before the half. The natural state from a bird's eye view, exploring Arkansas from above. There's after the games tonight, approximately 9:30, depending on how quickly that late game goes.
I'm a big fan of exploring Arkansas.
I'm a big fan of exploring Arkansas in general.
I like to see all the different places that they go across the state to highlight the great state of Arkansas. 3 wide receivers to the top side. Rester takes a high snap, gives it off to Plummer, and he'll get out past the 45-yard line to the 46.
Great job by the nose tackle there for Greenwood. He just snuffed that one out. A big man in the middle makes the play. Big 64 right there in the middle of your screen. Landon Kilgore listed as 6'3", 267. He fills out that Navy jersey nicely.
2nd down and 9 for El Dorado. 2:43 and counting left here in the first half. Rester going to look to throw and trying to hook up that time with his wide receiver Jackie Washington, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
I don't know if Washington's completely healthy. We saw him limping in the first quarter there. Wasn't able to push off and make a play on that bubble screen. I'll have to check on him, see if he's 100%. Now you got to be careful here if you're El Dorado on an incomplete pass or a quick 3 and out. You give Greenwood a chance to score before the half.
3rd down and 9. Rester puts Plummer on his right side. 4 wide receivers in the set. Fakes the handoff. Going to look to throw under pressure. Still looking. Penalty flag down. Going to throw downfield, and it's almost intercepted.
Tyler Crosno made that play a nightmare for Rester. The defensive end for Greenwood, 42, comes with the rip move on the bottom of your screen, and I believe the hold was going to be against him, Crosno, force the quarterback out of the pocket, and if this is a hold, Greenwood will decline it and maybe take a 4th down.
Holding. Offense. That penalty's been declined. 4th down.
That's just a great job by Crosno, 42 just to use the power rush on the outside, makes the quarterback move his feet. Now you're getting the football back for your offense with 2:21 left and 2 timeouts. That's plenty of time for the Greenwood offense to try to muster a drive before the half.
Sharmon Rester going to set to kick off, or hit the punt anyways. Aiden Kennan is back deep at the 20-yard line awaiting the punt. Kick is end over end. Kennan takes it back at the 16-yard line. Kennan is going to be taken down at the 28, and that's where Greenwood's going to have it 1st and 10 with 2:11 to play here in the first half. Hey, let's go down to the sideline and check in with Kyle Sutherland and see what is brewing on each sideline. Kyle.
Guys, we thought that this might be another El Dorado score before the half, but Greenwood, even though El Dorado's defense is hanging in there really tough, Greenwood possibly could get some more on the board here before we hit the break.
Here's a snap. Houston under pressure, gets away from one, can't get away from the other, as coming up with a sack for the El Dorado Wildcats was Demarion Rester, the 6'1", 229-pound defensive lineman.
El Dorado's just got rushers just coming unblocked. Initially, it was Danquez Shelton coming untouched from the near side. Houston avoids him, but can't avoid the second defender as we got a flag that's going to stop this one. But I think protection issues is really what the biggest issue for Greenwood is right now.
Well, and
prior to the snap infraction, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, and here's the other thing, Bobby. They're disguising cover 2 looks and cover 3 looks, but then they're cheating their linebackers and safeties up and bringing the extra pressure, and it's just not being recognized right now by Greenwood. If you look, there's no safety help right now. And here's Houston, going to be taken down again in the backfield. This time, it's by Trey Cook.
There's no disguising there. Trey Cook just overpowered the left side of that offensive line and gets in the play and takes down Houston. So it's a little slow to get up, but what a powerful rush move there by Cook. And now El Dorado's going to take a timeout defensively to try to get the offense back for the ball for them.
Well, I don't know if Houston is okay. He's kind of, if you look at him, he's got his head down, and he looks like he may have gotten a little beat up on that play.
If you're interested in what's next in our great Arkansas PBS lineup after the state football finals, all you got to do is visit myarpbs.org/schedule to see what's coming up and set program reminders.
1:30 to play here in the second quarter. Good shot right there of the Greenwood huddle as they've got a big 3rd down and 27. Ball's going to be at the 11-yard line, Bobby, and you can't keep going backwards because even if you get pushed back even farther, now you're going to give El Dorado great field position when you have to punt the football.
I mean, if you don't pick up the first down, El Dorado's already going to get good field position. And if they have to punt from their own end zone, you're exactly right. It's going to be a short field for the Wildcats. So obviously you're Greenwood, you're trying to pick this up, but more importantly, you can't afford to turn the football over.
Here's Houston looking to throw. Goes right, throws it, it's deflected. Great job by the corner for El Dorado that time. Coming up with the deflection was Raquel Williams.
Great job by Williams, gets the hand on that, and again, Houston having to pick himself up off the turf, and he's getting up slowly in the end zone. Thought I had a little touch pass, but a great job there by Raquel Williams, 5'9", 163 defensive back. Eldo's going to get great field position as the trainers are having to come out and tend to the Greenwood quarterback.
Yeah, Houston he got up and then went back to a knee. That would be a big blow to this Greenwood Bulldog team if he can't continue to go.
That could be real tough for the Greenwood offense. They were slow going early in the season when he was out. That would be a tough break for the Bulldogs. And halftime probably can't get here soon enough for those guys in navy and white.
Yeah, he's not feeling very well. So,
his head kind of whips back and bounces off the turf. Now we got a flag on the punt.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So that backs them up a little bit farther now.
So now they are punting out of their own end zone. The 2 deep men for El Dorado standing at their Greenwood 40. So you got to believe El Dorado going to take over with great field position and plenty of time to do something before the half.
Noah Jansen on to punt, as it's going to be a short kick, going to be taken by Dunn, and he muffed it. He muffed it. It's taken by Greenwood at the 26-yard line.
What a break for the Bulldogs and a heartbreaker for El Dorado. Evan Williams right there. Ball bounces right to him. Of course, you can't advance a muff punt, but man, did Greenwood just catch a massive break right before the half.
The new quarterback for El Dorado is going to be Slade Dean, the 6'1", 170-pound sophomore. Going to come in and take over for Hunter Houston.
I believe
Dean.
It's handed off and trying to get to the half.
But off to Robbins, and Robbins will pick up 3 yards.
I wouldn't expect a whole lot more from the Greenwood offense, just to hand it off. He's going to look at that muff punt. Just didn't field it.
I mean,
right through the wickets.
Yeah, he actually was looking at where the defenders were before he looked it in. Now here's Dean in trouble in the backfield. He'll be taken down. It'll be a sack on the play. That'll bring up 3rd down now. It's a loss of 2 on the play to bring up 3rd down and 9.
Bulldogs going to have to at least run a play here, as there's about a 4-second differential in play and game clock. They're on the ball in a hurry.
You know, Dean has had some playing experience. He's been in a couple games. He played whenever Hunter Houston missed those 3 games earlier in the year due to injury. So he's had some game experience. And the ball is snapped. It was at the feet of Dean, and he went down after a big loss.
And now El Dorado going to call timeout and force another punt and maybe try to make a play on special teams just before the half. That's a disaster averted there for Greenwood, but not a pretty sequence of events, and honestly not a pretty last 2 possessions for the Bulldogs, who are going the absolute wrong direction.
Poor Slade Dean got in there, and he was looking back towards the sideline, and the ball was sitting at his feet. It's called live wire right there. Whenever you've got live fire coming, you don't even know what's happening.
Greenwood's got negative 33 yards rushing. Of course, quarterback sacks go against the rushing total. Negative 33 yards on the ground.
Let's head down to Kyle Sutherland on the field for an update of maybe if he's got an update on Hunter Houston.
I haven't heard, guys. I'm actually on the El Dorado sideline right now. I know that they were working on him, but we'll probably get an update from Coach Young right before we get to the second half.
Thank you, Kyle. Looks like Hunter Houston now is making his way to the locker room, as I would imagine his return is questionable.
Best. Yeah, that's not a good look. That's not a good sign for Greenwood. They have no success running the football. They're going to have to rally the troops at halftime and try a different recipe, as they're going to have to burn a timeout here before they take another delay of game. And just got to find a way to get to the breakdown 3.
9 seconds remaining here in the half as El Dorado leads at 13-10. And by the way, the El Dorado Wildcats have taken their up man that just muffed the punt out of the ball game. That was Terenzo Dunn. They removed him and put Jackie Washington in his spot. So back deep for El Dorado, you've got DeAndre Burns as well as Jackie Washington.
If you make a fair catch here, RJ, you probably have time to run one play, but we'll see what El Dorado tries to do if they come after the punt. They try to set up a return or maybe save it for one play.
Well, and even if you advance the football, just depending on how far you go, you can still have time for one play.
Next to that ball bouncing out of bounds saves El Dorado, because Greenwood could have let it roll to a stop and let the time run out. But now the Wildcats have time to run one more play. And you got to expect this to maybe a screen, because Greenwood's defense certainly going to back up towards the goal line, or maybe trust your quarterback to heave it.
So 2 seconds remaining. Ball's going to be at the 44-yard line in Greenwood territory. would you almost just, if you're El Dorado, just run the ball, get to halftime, and take your lead?
I don't know. I mean, it's close enough. I mean, your quarterback's got a strong arm. I'd take a shot at it. If I'm El Dorado. He's got enough arm to get there. You've got the speed to get downfield. And, I mean, of course, you're going to have to keep a few guys back in case the ball's picked off. But if you've got a chance to throw it in the end zone, I'm always a fan and a proponent of taking that shot.
So they're going to line up with 3 wide receivers on the near side, as Rester is going to be in a shotgun. Now we've got a whistle and a timeout.
The last receiver didn't get out there for El Dorado, so they're going to have to burn a timeout. And the last 90 seconds of this half is taken, well, it's taken some time.
Yeah, and either way, hey, don't forget to stick around at the half. We'll have features with a Lake Hamilton football player that I had an opportunity, Bobby, to sit down and chat with. That if you want to hear a story of triumph and a kid that has had to overcome a lot of things, stick around at the half and hear from him, because, boy, I tell you what, his story is pretty phenomenal. And we've got kids that are all over the state that have to go through trying times and go through a football season. But this is one that you won't want to miss. It's all coming up here at the half.
Think about Dylan Williams there for Lake Hamilton. Now you got a chance. If you're Greenwood, you make a play as poorly as you've played offensively in this first half. I think you'd call it a win if you're being outgained by over 100 yards and to go down just 3 at intermission. But if you're El Dorado, you probably sense blood in the water. And if you can find a way to convert here, you really have some confidence at the break.
Sharmon Rester in the shotgun has got 4 wide receivers in the set. And now we've got whistles and a penalty flag. I don't think anybody wants to go to halftime.
Yeah, apparently
they've really enjoyed this first half. Well, there was some time that came off the clock.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Back it up, show off a little more arm strength than Rester.
You know, Rester made a 58-yard pass earlier, so he threw it 58 yards anyways. Wasn't completed. So he's got a big arm. So let's see how big it is.
Bunch of receivers to the top of your screen. Let's see what they want to do. Hook and lateral. Oh, a little shenanigery. Oh, Lyman love you. Love it.
Got some Lyman action in there. Making that last big catch for El Dorado was Cameron Davis. Always got to call his name. 6 foot 339 pounds. And he's probably one of the happiest guys on the field right now. And let's head down to the sideline. I know Kyle Sutherland is waiting on Stephen Jones to make his way over as he gets him. Kyle's got Stephen Jones right now. Take it away, Kyle.
Coach, your defense has played about as well as you could ask. Negative 33 yards you've held the Bulldogs to. Talk about their play in the first half.
All right, they've played awesome, and I just really like how they're rallying to the football. I mean, they're playing with a lot of speed, and they're just so aggressive. And, I mean, 2 or 3 guys right there making the tackle. That's awesome.
And your offense, you guys are known for putting up over 50 a game, and right now you're at 13. Of course, that's got the lead, but what do you guys have to do in the second half to put more points on the board?
All right, just do what we do. I mean, we just tried to do a little bit too much there in the first half, and just continue to do what got us here.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it, as we're at the half where the El Dorado Wildcats lead at 13-10 over Greenwood, and you're watching the Centennial Bank State Championships in Arkansas PBS Sports.
Centennial Bank is committed to you. Since our founding in 1999, we've become one of the nation's most trusted banks by remembering that you come first, by empowering our communities to reach their highest potential through our dedication to local charities, education, and exceptional service, because we are proud to call Arkansas home. Banking with you in mind. Centennial Bank, member FDIC.
Thanks, George. Appreciate it. At Big Red Stores, we're always proud to sponsor, support, and partner up with many events and activities throughout the community. Among them, high school championships throughout the state of Arkansas. At Big Red Stores, our team members are always ready to assist you to make your visit with us a pleasant one. And at Big Red Stores, we recognize that none of our support or ability to serve the community is possible without you. That's why at Big Red Stores, you're always the MVP of the Big Red team. Big Red Stores, now more convenient than ever.
We are at the half here at War Memorial Stadium in the Class 6A state championship game where El Dorado, they currently lead Greenwood by a score of 13-10. I'm RJ Hawk alongside Bobby Swafford. And Bobby, this was, I don't know if this was the game that we were expecting, but I know there was a lot of offense expected, and we've seen quite the opposite. It's been a lot of defense.
We expected this game between these two teams to go back and forth. We just didn't know it was going to be turnovers and punts going back and forth. And you got to give a tip of the cap to both of these defenses. Combined, they averaged 950 yards. They've got 260 in the first half today.
Well, offensively for El Dorado, 37 plays run, 191 yards. I think more surprisingly, though, Greenwood has run 36 plays. They've not even made it to the 100-yard mark. They're only at 73 total yards of offense.
They haven't been able to run the football. They haven't been able to protect their quarterback in Hunter Houston. He's running for his life back there. Negative 33 yards on the ground. Again, sacks go against rushing totals at the high school level. They've got to find a way to shore up the protection, because if they can't get that taken care of, it's going to be a long second half.
Not to mention that for Greenwood, they may be without their quarterback in the second half. Hunter Houston went to the locker room. We'll have Kyle give an update in the second half on his condition, but that's going to be a big blow to this offense if they don't have him.
Yeah, so you're talking about maybe you don't have your quarterback, you don't have your number 1, 2, or 3 running backs available. You haven't been able to establish the line of scrimmage. Your backup quarterback's a sophomore. Everything seems to be stacked up against Greenwood right now, but of course you can't bet against those guys who, oh, by the way, are defending state champions.
And Hunter Houston, 10 of 20 passing for 106 yards, a touchdown, and an interception so far. He's had more offense alone on him than the entire team has had.
Yeah, it's just those rushing totals, those sacks that are those big negative plays. We saw Greenwood really start to settle in. You got to remember, they led 10-7. They look like they got it going, but the turnovers, the 3 turnovers for Greenwood, 2 for El Dorado, have put these two teams really behind themselves. They're putting themselves behind the 8 ball, because you see the points off of turnovers. All 13 points for El Dorado came off of Greenwood mistakes.
On for the Wildcats, Sharmon Rester, he's really done a lot for this team. He's ran the ball 9 times for 52 yards. He's thrown it for 57. But between him and Plummer's already run for 100 yards.
Yeah, and I think the second half we're going to see a lot more of that. They're going to try to use their speed, get it to the outside. They're not having a lot of success running between the tackles, with the exception of the 120-yard touchdown run after the turnover. So try to take advantage on the outside, get some numbers. Their receivers are doing a great job on the perimeter of blocking. Take advantage of that. And I think if you're El Dorado, as you knowing that Greenwood's offense is struggling, you want to pick up the pace. You want to try to get as many possessions as possible, because with a sophomore quarterback, Greenwood might make a mistake and give you the football.
Well, the weather has moved out of central Arkansas. It's just an overcast day, so we ought to have clear skies for the second half of action here in the 6A state championship game. It's 13-10. El Dorado, they lead Greenwood in the 6A championship game. Don't forget, stick around for some features by Arkansas PBS Sports. It's all coming up next as you're watching the Centennial Bank State Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
For every moment, for every memory, from that first car to your first home, to your first child, and all the highs and lows that tomorrow might bring. For everything that matters most to you and your family, there's someone right around the corner dedicated to helping you protect what you love. Your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Welcome to the Arkansas PBS Sports Halftime Show, sponsored by the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. I'm your host, David Basil, here at the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame. We're going to get you back to 6A championship action in just a few minutes. In the meantime, we have a terrific halftime for you, including the story of a historic and memorable homecoming at UAPB and a visit with a hard-hitting student athlete, Dylan Williams of the Lake Hamilton Wolves. But first, COVID affected almost every aspect of life last year, including football. In Fordyce, where football is king, vaccinations and football came together in a surprising way for the team and the community.
Football in Fordyce is one of the most special things I think you can find in small town Arkansas.
Our town is 100% behind the Redbucks.
Football is it in Fordyce.
Football is probably the bedrock of the school culture and perhaps even the community culture.
Fordyce has a rich history of sports.
We want to be a three-peat, 3-time state champion back-to-back.
COVID was a major factor last year. I know our first round of the playoffs, we actually had a game scheduled, but it got canceled because the opposing team had so many cases of COVID that they got immediately knocked out of playoff contention. Coming back this year, I knew if I want to be able to go out and perform for my town and be able to give the fans and everybody else in this town a good season, then I think that it's a no-brainer of what I should do.
Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. Hey, you do that, we win Friday night easy. Make a man.
So I decided after a long talk with my mom and my dad and just going back and forth with it to go ahead and get the vaccine, and I've had no problems with it.
Red Bulls on 3, family on 6. 1, 2, 3. Red Bulls! 4, 5, 6.
I am just tickled with how well the kids are responding to this. People who don't want to get the vaccine, I respect that point of view. Nobody is making these kids be vaccinated. They have to have a parental consent form signed in order to be in this incentive program.
All my classmates got their shots, and they was telling me I should get mine. I'm gonna go to Walmart and buy me a PSN card for my PlayStation.
Alrighty, get you all dosed up, you be ready to go, man. It's a little pinch. There it is.
I would tell them to get it. It's not scary. It's just a shot. It's not gonna hurt you.
I would feel guilty knowing if I had COVID and didn't know it, and I got somebody else sick, I would feel guilty.
There's another one that's not going to get bad sick. You know, there's another one that's not going to die. You know, there's another one that's not going to give it to somebody else, hopefully. You know, it's a victory. It's like we've accomplished something.
Hey guys, this is going to be the biggest ball game we played this year so far. And guys, if we want to win state, we got to win Friday night. Let's go, Carson!
We're trying to do what's right for the community and trying to just keep as many people as we can safe.
We love these kids and we want what's best for them. We're going to look out for them every way we can, and we are all going to work together to do what we think is best. And we feel that vaccination is going to be the way out of this.
The Fordyce Redbugs have one of the longest championship traditions in the state of Arkansas. Their team-wide stance against COVID-19 has proven to be the latest victory in this winning tradition. Homecoming is another time-honored tradition occurring during football season. Who doesn't remember going to a homecoming game or the homecoming dance? Right now, we want to take you back to a very special homecoming celebration in 1990. It took place in Pine Bluff. A night made special by a guest of honor, none other than the heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali.
Now I know why young girls fell out about the Beatles. I did the same thing when Ali came to town. Only thing about it, I didn't pass out. I didn't pass out, but I was one happy camper.
For me to be feet away from him as he passed through downtown was amazing to me. It just kind of blew my mind.
They kept bumping up against me, and I would bump up against the car, bump up against the car.
So finally he turned around, he looked down at me, he smiled, and then he reached down and pinched my cheek. When he pinched my cheek, I said, that's good enough for me.
One thing that inspires me a lot about Muhammad Ali is how outspoken he was. Even when he was persuaded to not be that way, he felt a strong conviction to always speak truth to power.
And he inspired individuals to let them know that that you could stand up for what you believed in. My grandmother loved Muhammad Ali. The only thing she wanted to know at the end is, did Ali win?
Meeting Ali was, it was up there. As a matter of fact, I still have his picture where I met him on my wall in my office.
It was extremely important because it's always important for our students to be able to see someone who looks like them, who has accomplished something in life, who has a positive life, and he was definitely known for that.
I've been to several historically black colleges, and nobody has been able to surpass what I've seen at UAPB at homecoming.
Homecoming provides an opportunity for us to reconnect with each other, both with our classmates and my former students. I have an opportunity to see so many students who remember me, and I may remember faces and don't remember all the names. It also gives us an opportunity to see and talk about the accomplishments that the university has made since the time that we were here.
Family reunion, that's what it actually means. It's a family reunion. Get an opportunity to rekindle relationships.
When I was elected Miss UAPB, I mean, my mind was blown. Growing up, I was never a pageant girl. I actually made fun of pageant girls. But when I came to UAPB, it meant more than just a title to me. And so when I had the title, I felt like I could really make a difference in a greater way. And then to win the title of the #1 Ebony HBCU Campus Queen, I felt like that was great for my university as well in the HBCU world, to let them know that UAPB is here. We are still kicking in the South.
It's the time for those that receive much from the institution to give back to the institution. And that's what makes homecoming special to me. The most enjoyable moment in my life, especially doing any homecoming, is to have the greatest to come back and help put the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff on the map.
For him to come to this campus multiple times, I think also speaks about what the mission of this university is and how they want to develop students who will also carry that torch when it may not be popular to do so. And that's definitely what my university did for me.
Coming to a small environment and seeing people that were just like you, who had a genuine concern for your welfare, not only as a student, but as a person. They were able to give you that confidence that you could succeed, even when you didn't even have all the resources available that you needed.
What an inspiration for the 1990 Golden Lions to look up from the sidelines and see one of the greatest living athletes cheering you on. What could be more motivating than that? The 2021 Lake Hamilton Wolves have also served up motivation and inspiration this year. One of the student athletes helping make this happen is defensive tackle Dylan Williams. Let's learn more as our RJ Hawk catches up with Dylan.
You know, he's a hard worker. He plays with grit. He just comes and comes to work every day, you know, and works hard.
You moved down here your sophomore year of high school.
I did.
And when you came in here, you weren't really taking football serious until your 10th grade year.
No, I started off, you know, playing I didn't really do high school sports, and came here and felt it was a new chance to try something new, and joined it, loved the guys, loved the team, and loved the sport, so I stuck with it.
Coach Cooper, your defensive line coach, you always get a smile even before the interview. What's that relationship like?
Well, Coop's just, I mean, he's a coach, but he's also a friend. He's funny, and he'll work us, and he'll make us better, and I mean, he's funny while he does it too, so that's always good.
You know, I'm close to all those guys, and they're the guys that to me the battles are won up front, and I pick at them, and I'm joking around with them all the time, but yet when it's time to go to work, we go to work.
You know, this football team, especially the defensive line, is like a family. You guys hang out after practice. In the off season, you guys are all together doing things. Would it be an accurate statement to say that everybody on that defensive line, and really the entire defense to you, is considered family?
Yeah, I mean, football brought us together, but it's not football that keeps us together. We're a family and we love each other.
You know, you lost your mom this year. Something that's tough for anybody in high school, even if you're an adult. But this team really rallied around you. I was told that after, I guess, a day after her passing, you guys beat Russellville. What was that moment like for you?
On the sideline, everybody's hugging me, cheering me on, saying, Dylan, doing a great job, because nobody really knows what to say during a time like that. So just having everybody there and all of us coming together and getting a win was pretty great.
What do you think Dylan's legacy here, after he leaves, what do you think his legacy here is as a senior and on this football team? Well,
he's going to leave a great legacy, with all the hard work that he's put in and the things that he's done. Like I said, he comes to work every day and wants to do right. And I hope he leaves a legacy, and I hope the kids that come in behind him look up to him and will want to be pretty much like what he's been.
What's one message that you would want to leave to the underclassmen and say, I want them to remember me this way?
It's like, even if it gets hard, you get hurt, just stick with it and be coachable. Let coaches teach you and make you better.
Good luck, Dylan. And thank you for being a part of the Arkansas PBS Sports Halftime Show. Catch all of the information about Arkansas PBS by going to myarpbs.org/sign-up. I'm David Basil. Let's head back to War Memorial for the second half of the 6A Championship on the home of the football high school state finals, Arkansas PBS.
The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Welcome back. Halftime. El Dorado 13, Greenwood 10. That's RJ Hawk. I'm Bobby Swafford. RJ, that half did not go as expected.
It did not. No, Bobby, it did not. And, hey, it is what it is. And, yeah, I will say this, that we will get an update here from Kyle Sutherland in a little bit on the status of the quarterback over at Greenwood, Hunter Houston. But we'll find out what exactly his plans are for the second half, and I'll be interested to see if El Dorado is able to capitalize on him not being in the ballgame. That's kind of the big storyline for the second half.
And we're going to find out immediately as Greenwood's is going to get the football to start the second half, as the Bulldogs are starting to take the field. El Dorado already in the opposite end zone, and find a way to recognize the pressure. That's going to be the big issue. Is El Dorado had free rushers coming almost every time the Bulldogs snapped the football. You got to identify, whether it's bringing an extra blocker in, leaving a tight end, or running back in to block. Greenwood's got to shore up that protection before they can really even worry about what the quarterback's going to do with the football.
Kyle Sutherland's down on the field right now, as he'll have an update for us here for the second half, and he's also with Greenwood head coach Chris Young. Take it away, Kyle.
Chris, so some adversity there in the first half. What do you guys have to do, especially offensively, to get the ball down the field and put it in the end zone?
We got to get loose. We got to throw and catch. Defense is playing really well and kept us in ball game, and we're not doing very well on offense. We're having trouble getting loose and getting off of them. Of course, they're bringing everybody. Good news is we can get loose once and catch the ball. You ought to be able to score. So we just got to get loose, got to catch the ball.
And what's the availability of Hunter this half?
It's to be determined. Not sure right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. And, look, not to be, if you don't know the status of your quarterback, most of the time that means he's not going to be available in the second half.
Yeah, questionable at best, as we're going to take a look at some first half highlights. And there wasn't a lot of them there, but there was a lot on the defensive side of the football. And I think we talked about all the yards that these two teams put up, but it's just the defense, the defensive line have really controlled this football game. If you're El Dorado, you feel like you're in a pretty good spot. But you look at what these two teams have done and not been able to do. Another turnover there for Greenwood that led to the first score of the game. Just settle in. It feels like neither one of these teams settled in offensively to get into a flow of a game.
Or that, on the flip side of that, you could always say that the defenses just are playing out of their minds right now. They're playing really, really good defense. And so, it could be a mixture of the two. And I think, though, that there was so much talk coming into this game about the offensive explosion between these two. I mean, look at Bob. Greenwood averaging 41 points a game, El Dorado averaging 48 points a game. Both teams giving up over 20 a game, and so you didn't think the storyline was going to be about the defense.
Yeah, but those defensive players heard that all week. They heard me. They heard you. They heard it. The TV stations talk about, they averaged 480 yards a game. They averaged 475, all these points. Well, those defensive players saw that and says, you know what, we're going to go out and win this game for our team and make sure that our offense doesn't have to go out and score 35. A lot of credit to both sides for their defensive play, but who's going to make that first big play here in the second half? That first half, as lopsided as the numbers are, 191 as far as total yards for El Dorado, just 73 for Greenwood, doesn't matter. It's only a 3-point game.
Individual players in the first half for each team. El Dorado's Plummer, Shadarius Plummer, that is, had 12 carries for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then on the flip side of that, you did have Hunter Houston throw for 106 yards, a touchdown and an interception. But the leading receiver for Greenwood right now is L.J. Robbins with 8 receptions for 81 yards and a touchdown. There's both head coaches right there as we get ready to start the second half. Keys to the game, Bobby, for the second half.
One for Greenwood, you got to protect. Whether you're trying to run the football, you've got to align properly on offense. You've got to identify the pressure, and El Dorado just keep it coming. Just keep bringing the pressure, keep bringing the house. They seem to be doing it about every time Greenwood drops back to pass, and just stick to the game plan. I mean, the first half did not tell you anything that it's not working or, hey, it's working. Let's go back, almost script the plays like you go back to the beginning of the game. On this opening drive, we're going to find out, of course, who's going to be at quarterback for Greenwood. Go back to the screen game. No. They popped the big halfback screen for the touchdown. I think we're going to see a lot of L.J. Robbins. You got to find a way to get Luke Brewer the football. Did he have a catch in that first half?
He had one, or he was thrown to once.
Yeah, so I mean he hasn't touched the football yet, and you could argue that he's their biggest playmaker. So you got to find a way to get 84 the football. 65 catches, 850 yards, 8 touchdowns. And hadn't touched the ball yet today. That's going to be big to get him the ball.
Okay, so Greenwood won the opening coin toss. They elected to defer, so they'll get the ball here in the second half. As back deep for Greenwood, you've got Grant Carnes and Colin Doggett. And here is the kick. That is going to go on the left side. Taken out past the 25 to the 30. And coming up with the return for Greenwood was L.J. Robbins. And that's where they'll have it 1st and 10 as we start the second half.
Yeah, Slade Dean back at quarterback for Greenwood, number 14, the sophomore. So at least no Hunter Houston to start this second half. I think most people believe we're not going to see him the rest of the way. And we'll see how the sophomore adjusts to this big stage.
Slade Dean looking to throw. It's deflected at the line and almost intercepted. It was in and out of the hands that time of Denquez Shelton, the outside linebacker.
2nd down and 10.
El Dorado has just done a great job of getting in the passing lane and getting their hands up and making throws difficult. That's about the 4th batted ball that we've seen, and Greenwood very fortunate that Shelton couldn't make the play, and if he does make that catch, he's waltzing into the end zone.
Dean in the shotgun. Takes the shotgun snap, is going to roll right. Looks to throw, has a man. It's in the hands of Brewer, and he gets it out to the 40-yard line. It's going to be a pickup of 6 yards on the play to bring up 3rd down.
Love the play design there. Move the pocket. El Dorado has come guns blazing at your quarterback. You roll the pocket, and more importantly, you find a way to get Brewer the football, his first catch. We'll see if he can get going now on this offense.
3rd down and 4. They'll put 2 wide receivers over to the left side to make it 3 total.
Just man-to-man across the board for El Dorado, no safety deep.
Dean going big ball. Has a man, he's got him, we've got penalty flags down.
There's a lot of contact there, RJ, and you can tell the halftime game plan, get the ball to 84. He won the one-on-one battle despite the interference. They're going to decline that, and Greenwood's on the move.
Before the pass, holding, defense. That penalty's been declined. First down.
Slade Dean to Luke Brewer. Big pickup. He caught it with one hand, and it's 1st and 10. Ball is at the 31.
Just got to trust your playmakers on the outside to win those one-on-one battles. We've got movement before the snap. Whether it's Brewer, where it's Kennan, where it's Robbins.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
You got to trust those three playmakers who've combined for more than 170 catches this year to go out and make plays one-on-one against this press coverage that El Dorado's not getting away from.
So it's 1st and 15, ball at the 36. He's going to throw it across the middle, and it goes incomplete.
Had a receiver breaking open late, but that was one of the few times that El Dorado did not bring pressure, and I don't think that Slade Dean was expecting to have that kind of timing. Threw it too early, and lucky that one that didn't land in the hands of the defense.
2nd down and 15 with the ball at the 36-yard line. Just underway here in the second half. Brings a man in motion as Dean's looking to throw under pressure, steps up, goes downfield, has the man at the 10, 5, touchdown Greenwood. He fumbled it at the end zone. Wow, it was stripped away. LJ Robbins was crossing the end line, and it was stripped away at the last moment. I went to call a touchdown, and it just got stripped away at the half-yard line. Let's take a look at this. There's Robbins. He got stripped right at the very end, Bobby, right at the 1-yard line.
That ball was definitely out, and the fumble, they blew it dead. I guess the rule is you can't advance a fumble out of the end zone. The ball came out at the 1-yard line.
Wow, that was, a heads-up play by the defender for El Dorado. Let's get the call.
El Dorado clearly recovered it. They're having to discuss what the initial call is here.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by El Dorado. After the fumble, we have an inadvertent whistle. The ball will be placed at the 20, 1st and 10, El Dorado.
Oh, that's tough right there, Bobby, because with the inadvertent whistle, the ball is stopped where the whistle was blown, so that's why they were not able to advance the fumble. And so now
Greenwood's going to take a timeout, and he wants an explanation, because I believe what Chris Young is saying is the ball was fumbled at the 1-yard line. And so if the inadvertent whistle's there, wouldn't the ball be placed at the 1-yard line? Why are you giving them a touchback and giving them 19 extra yards? Got to believe that's what Coach Young is arguing about.
What they could have said was, it was fumbled at the 1-yard line, and
you can read the lips there. He's like, you got to put at the spot, and why are you giving the ball to 20?
No, I mean, I get it, and maybe their determination was they thought the play had carried itself into. This would probably be a good spot for replay, because what their thought would be is it was fumbled at the 1, and maybe they thought the ball rolled into the end zone, and that's where the inadvertent whistle took place.
The inadvertent whistle is, I guess he thought it's not a touchback automatically like it is on a kickoff. You can advance a fumble out of the end zone defensively.
Either way, El Dorado's got it 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
What a break for the Wildcats, though. Great job to stay committed to the play.
Now here's a pass out left side. That's over to Burns, and Burns going to go out of bounds at the 29-yard line.
Just downfield blocking by the Eldo receivers, just giving their teammates a chance to do something with the football, using 9-yard screen there.
2nd down and 1. Ball at the 29-yard line. Rester going to look to throw. Looks in the entire field. Now looks to run. Evades one player. Goes past the 30 to the 37-yard line. Picks up the first down, but boy, great speed, great vision to be able to pick up the first down and more.
They had plenty of time as they faked the screen to each side and had 2 go routes, and Greenwood looked like they were going to get him in the backfield, but he's able to avoid the pressure. You got to wrap up. You can't just throw a shoulder at a player with the talent of Rester, and he's able to move the chains.
First down and 10 with the ball at the 36.
Let's see what you hit, RJ. You're not going to make any tackle diving with your back to a player.
Gonna hand it off to Plummer. Works around one defender. Still on his feet. Gonna be bottled up in the backfield. Gonna be taken down at the 29-yard line.
Colt Owenby did a nice job of cleaning that up. The Greenwood defense stretched that one out, and he finished it off, and that's a big loss of about 5.
So that'll bring up second down and 16 with the ball at the 31-yard line.
Second and 16.
Rester has 3 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. Fakes the handoff. Going to look to throw downfield. And it was rifled in there. Tried to get it into DeAndre Burns Jr. And it goes incomplete to bring up third down.
Pretty good coverage there by Colin Daggett, the senior defensive back for Greenwood. He's able to get between the receiver and the football. Number 7 right there. He separates it, and the 3rd and long for El Dorado.
Tell you, it was a pretty decent throw, if you ask me. I mean, he's got a rifle of an arm.
He put that where only his receiver could go down and get it, but you got to give credit to Daggett there for making the play defensively. Sometimes good defense beats good offense.
Here's the snap to Rester. Looking to throw under pressure. Still rolling. Going downfield. And he just overthrows his intended target, Burns, and that'll bring up 4th down.
It's a great job. It's a great series by the Greenwood secondary, able to not allow anybody behind them on the scramble rules. Usually as a receiver is either going to come back to the quarterback or they're going to take off and go the other direction. And Greenwood did a nice job defensively to maintain the contact with their receiver. Now they're going to get the football back. And you got to believe they're feeling pretty confident, especially the way the sophomore quarterback orchestrated that first drive, even though it ended with a fumble.
Here's the punt by Rester. It's going to be taken by Greenwood. And he'll return it out to the 36-yard line. That time it was Aiden Kennan who took it out to the 37, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Greenwood from there.
What I saw on that first drive for Greenwood this half, RJ, they're going to trust their receivers. El Dorado's going to go press coverage, not keep a safety deep. So look, take some shots down the field. You know, quick 2-step, 3-step drop, and let one fly.
Slade Dean back in at quarterback, looking to throw. Penalty flags down. He's got a man. That's LJ. LJ Robbins is going to take it all the way down to the 16-yard line, but hold everything. We've got penalty flags down.
Robbins is down in a lot of pain.
We're going to get there's an injured player. That'd be LJ Robbins down at the 15-yard line. I think the official's waiting to give the call until we find out what goes on with him. But here's the play. As when he was running, he's holding his knee as it jammed into the turf.
Lower right leg. The big play is going to be negated, though, because of the penalty.
LJ Robbins has been big for this offense today as he's being helped off the field.
Unable to put any pressure on that right leg. It's not a good sign.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
He got hurt on a play that didn't even matter.
Follow Arkansas PBS on Twitter and Instagram at Arkansas PBS. Use the hashtag ARPBS Sports.
So that'll back the ball up to the 23-yard line. It'll be first down and forever.
The injury is just all season long for Greenwood. Today it's not getting any better.
24 yards is what they have to get. They hook up with a wide receiver. That time it's Aiden Kennan. And he gets slung out of bounds, and Greenwood's won a penalty flag.
And the Bulldogs are not happy with this officiating crew. They didn't like the call and the fumble in the end zone. They wanted a late hit there. And the fans on the home side are starting to get into it as well.
Second down, going up top with it as it's intercepted. Taken by El Dorado. And picking it off that time was Mario Ganter. He just went over his shoulder, took the fade route essentially, and El Dorado gets the football back.
Dean just throws one up. He thought his receiver was going to go up the field. Brewer broke in like on a post route, and that was just an easy interception there. And now he's down.
And Ganter's holding his ankle after that one. And he twisted it around when he went down.
We're told that's a state finals record for turnovers already with 8.
Wow. I didn't even know we kept that stat.
And we have more than 20 minutes of game time left.
Wow, 8 official turnovers.
Surprising it's that low, to be honest.
I was surprised somebody kept up with it.
They keep up with everything. Between Walter Woody, Leland Barclay, and the stat crew, you can find any number that you want.
So El Dorado's going to be back. I don't know if that's a number you want to keep up with. But either way, so that'll put the ball at the 48-yard line. El Dorado back into Greenwood territory. Rester going to hand it off on a delay. Gives it to Plummer. We got a penalty flag down.
These are starting to get a little more prevalent. Already 16 combined penalties, and this is about to be number 17. It'll be at number 11 on Eldo.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
You know what? We talked about how offensively both these teams have had a hard time, but there's really not been any flow to this game. A lot of games you'll have flow that kind of mixes in with the defense, offense, and even officiating. There's just not been a whole lot of flow at all in this one.
And big plays have been called back. There's been a lot of penalties. 17 for this point of the game is a lot. I mean, we're on pace for 25 in the game.
But it's not. I mean, the penalties that have happened have been pretty obvious penalties.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like there's been a lot of judgment penalties. Quick pass goes left side to Burns. And Burns gets back to the original line of scrimmage. So he'll pick up 10 yards, and that'll bring up second down.
Second down, 11 to go.
It's like you draw it up, RJ. We thought we were going to see 85 points, and
yeah,
got 23.
Second down and 11. They fake the handoff. Rester keeps it himself, and he'll fall forward after a pickup of about 3 yards.
You kind of get the feeling that the next score just might blow this thing open either way. And that's why the forced fumble right before Greenwood scored was so important. Everybody in the stadium kind of felt like Greenwood was out of this. Even though they're only down 3, you lose your quarterback, you think they don't have a chance to make a play, then you go down and you potentially score. You take those points off the board, that's just a major backbreaker. But Greenwood's finding a way to just scrap and stay in this game. Now they got a big third down.
Third down and 7. Rester looking to throw. Has a man. Left side. Gets out past the 30. That time was able to hook up with Cameron Bibby for his first catch of the ball game.
It's just a simple route right at the sticks. Nice throw and catch. Even picks up a few extra yards to run after the catch, and he lets the defender know about it. Lucky he didn't get called for taunting on that. If the NFL, they would have thrown that flag.
First and 10. Ball at the 29-yard line. Now fake the handoff. Rester keeps it himself, falls down at the 25. A pickup of 4 yards on the play.
Greenwood's doing a great job of closing on the quarterback, and Rester smartly just goes to the turf and takes the 4 yards without taking a big shot.
El Dorado's going to put 3 wide receivers at the top of your screen. Rester fakes the handoff, looks to throw again, under pressure, steps up, gonna run with it, out past the 15 to the 10-yard line.
That's just all athleticism and want to right there by Rester. Nobody open, pocket starting to break down. He's able to use his legs, extend the play, and pick up a 1st and goal for the Wildcats.
Four wide receivers in the formation for Rester. Takes the snap, looks to throw, knocked down the line. It was caught by Rester. He's going to run with it out past the 5 and taken out of bounds at the 1-yard line. He threw it to himself.
He's doing it all. He can run it, he can throw it, now he can catch it. That might have been.
I would love to see how Troy Mitchell, who is the statistician, he stats that one. He throws it and catches it all in one.
Now that would be a question, has a player ever thrown himself a touchdown pass?
That's got to be a new, is that the first time it's ever been done? So 2 wide receivers each side, the ball's at the 1. Hands it off to Plummer. Plummer dives for the end zone. No signal as they come in at the half-yard line.
Thought the second effort might have got him there, but the official's right there looking down the line, saying he did not break the plane of the goal line. And they're going to have 2 more shots at it. You definitely got to believe this is 4-down territory. And both these teams telling the crowd to get into it.
Ball at the half-yard line. El Dorado trying to extend their lead.
They're spreading the receivers out. You got to believe this is going to be straight ahead. This man-on-man football.
Rester hands it off to Plummer. He walks in the end zone. Touchdown, El Dorado.
It's a great job by that offensive front. They spread the receivers, which takes 4 defenders out of the box, and you're taking your 5 linemen against their box of the defense, and advantage El Dorado on that one. Now they've got an extra point to give them a 10-point lead.
On to kick for El Dorado is Rajemi Adogdu. Kick is up, and it's good. And with 5:53 to play in the 3rd quarter, El Dorado, they're looking for a state championship as they lead it 20-10, and you're watching the Centennial Bank State Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Broadcast of this championship game is made possible by
the Cherokee Nation, our people, our culture, our history, our future. To learn more, go to visitcherokeenation.com and say hello to the Cherokee Nation.
The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Riggs Rents, Arkansas's rental equipment provider, from aerial lifts to dirt-moving machines and everything in between. Our family-owned and operated business takes pride in serving our employees and customers. Riggs Rents, a proud supporter of Arkansas PBS Sports.
Farmers and Merchants Bank and the Bank of Fayetteville share the mission of Arkansas PBS to enrich and empower all Arkansans. Community, dignity, respect. That's what Me Banking is all about. More at mebanking.com.
Local broadcast of Arkansas PBS programming is made possible in part by Community Bakery. Scratch-made breads, pastries, cakes, treats, and locally roasted coffees. Served daily at 2 locations in Little Rock, 1200 Main and 270 Shackelford.
Celebrate game day under the arches. Access to tons of benefits through our rewards program. It's available today on the McDonald's app. I'm loving
it. You just went there. I like it.
Yeah, why not?
I like it. Okay, well, El Dorado's going to kick off. as they put a foot into it, and it's going to sail down to the 1-yard line. And it's going to be taken by Greenwood up the left side. Has a running lane. That's Kennan over left side, and he'll go out of bounds after a nice return.
It's a big job by the Greenwood special teams. You got to find a spark for your offense somewhere, and maybe the special teams unit's going to do it there, but there is a flag at the 37, so this big return could be cut in half.
And I said it was Kennan. It was actually Grant Carnes.
During the return, holding, return team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Greenwood.
So we've already tied one record, RJ, for the most combined turnovers in a championship game. I'm not going to ask what the record for penalties are, but we're getting a bunch.
I bet you we're not even close.
Yeah, I'm sure now. That's number 18 of the game. Radio guys are listening to us.
Yeah, they said the same thing that you did. Okay, 1st and 10. Here's Greenwood running the football straight up the middle. That's a good run that time by Cameron Crone. He's able to pick up 6 yards to make it 2nd down and 4.
You know, honestly, RJ, that's something they haven't been able to do, is just run the football and get ahead of the chains on 1st down. And it's been more of that, to be honest.
Here's Crone in the backfield.
He gets shut down, lost maybe a half a yard. Now it's going to be 3rd and 4.
3rd down and 4.
Just consistently winning matchups up front is what El Dorado's doing. That's why they're so successful.
3rd down and 4 with the ball at the 34-yard line. Under 5 to play here in the 3rd quarter. And we've got a whistle and a timeout charged to Greenwood.
Didn't like the look. They were going to motion.
Timeout. Greenwood. They're 2nd of the half.
They were going to motion the running back out of the backfield, and that's dead sign for El Dorado to start bringing pressure. And Coach Chris Young calls the timeout from the sideline, and he definitely didn't like the look for his sophomore quarterback.
Hey, don't forget tonight, starting at 6:30 right here on Arkansas PBS Sports, it will be the 7A state championship game between the Bryant Hornets and the Fayetteville Bulldogs. It'll be right here at War Memorial Stadium. It'll be a great game, Bobby, between both those teams. Bryant, the 3-time defending state champions, and looking for number 4 as they take on the Fayetteville Bulldogs.
Fayetteville won their first outright conference championship in over 50 years. Let's go all the way back to the 1960s since they did that. They've got a ton of speed, 3 big-time receivers. Of course, the Razorback commit, Isaiah Satania, got a chance to get to 2,000 yards receiving with a big night tonight. I've been looking forward to it. Honestly, it's the matchup I've been hoping to see all season, and we're finally going to get it.
Okay, it's 3rd and 4 for Greenwood. Looking to throw, goes right side. Penalty marker down as it sailed over the top of his intended target that time as he was trying to hook up with Grant Carnes.
Going to get an offensive pass interference here on a pick play. It's a little too obvious. If you're El Dorado, you might consider taking this as it's be 4th and short. But you can see the pick play. There's contact right in the middle of that jumbled mess there, and a little too obvious for the official not to throw the flag. On those pick plays, you kind of act like you're going to block him and then kind of jump out of the way. That time there's too much contact.
Pass interference. Offense. 15-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
And I also think it's smart to take the penalty to back him up way behind the sticks because, 4th and 4 is probably a situation down 10. If you're Greenwood, you try to go for it.
4th down.
Well, take that back. They do decline it. And as soon as I say that, they're going to send the punt team on.
Following the penalty, 4th down and 4.
So that'll bring the punter on, Noah Jansen.
Noah Jansen on the punt.
Back deep to receive the punt. You've got DeAndre Burns Jr. as well as Jackie Washington.
Deep to receive.
You think it here, RJ?
No, not this deep in your own territory. Jansen gets the punt off, and it's fair caught by Washington, and so that's where El Dorado will have it 1st and 10 with 4:41 to play here in the 3rd quarter.
Big drive coming up for both of these sides. You feel like a 3-possession game might be too big of a hole to climb out of if you're Greenwood. So El Dorado, just continue to run your offense, trust your quarterback's legs. Try to get the ball to your playmaker, Plummer, in the backfield, and maybe churn out some clock. And you find the end zone, you might be starting that clock.
Wilson is the official ball sponsor.
It's a celebration. We'll send a big shout out to Ashley Media for helping us get the word out about the state football championships. Of course, we appreciate their support.
Shamar Rester is back in. He's going to throw it left side. That out to Washington. Washington cuts it back up in, gets out past the 39 to 40 yard line, and that'll bring up second down. Armand Rester, 5'10", 190-pound senior. He's closing in on 3,600 yards passing on the year. Rester fakes the handoff, looks to throw, cuts it back up in, and he'll get it about a yard shy of the first down.
There's the RPO, the run-pass option. The option to give it to his running back, maybe flip it out to his receiver in the slot, and he wisely tucks it and picks up 4.
So 3rd down and 1 as we're under 4 to play here in the 3rd quarter.
So a big, big play here. Greenwood's defense trying to get their crowd into it. And Plummer or Rester straight ahead, going to be the recipe for success here if you're Eldo.
Hands off to Plummer. Plummer met at the line, and did he fall forward? It looks like he did. You get the first down.
Giving the forward progress. Good effort there. I like the design. You go a hard count, and it looks like you're slacking off to check at the sideline, then you immediately snap it. Maybe catch the defense a touch off guard, and Plummer able to fight forward past the 45 and move the chains.
1st and 10, ball at the 46. Closing in on 3 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. Rester looking to throw, going big ball, has a man, and he overthrows his intended target, Cameron Bibby. Bibby actually stopped running, and he just overthrows him.
He was open there. There's a little too much air underneath it. Just out of his outstretched arms.
2nd down and 10.
You see El Dorado get into a huddle. I've seen that a lot today. They're starting to be a little more methodical. Clock's not moving. They're going to use a little more of the play clock because it's already down to 10.
They just want that clock to roll as fast as possible at this point. 2nd down and 10. Gonna hand it off. Right up the middle goes his running back, Plummer. Just rumbling and stumbling all the way down to the 32-yard line. Big run that time by Shadarius Plummer.
22 yards there for Plummer. He's already having a big day. 122 yards now for the running back and breaking tackles in the process.
Ball at the 32. And we've got a whistle and a penalty flag. False start on El Dorado.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Bobby, I just looked at college championship games are going on today, and right now in the Big 12 championship, Baylor on top of Oklahoma State, 21-16.
1st down and 15.
If you're a fan of chaos, that's step number 1.
Yes. So it makes it 1st and 15 with the ball at the 37.
I've been so locked in on these title games and getting ready for it, I completely forgot that it was championship weekend.
Yeah.
I guess Alabama, Georgia coming up in a little bit.
Yeah.
Sharman Rester on the keeper.
Rester keeps that one. Gets it across the 30 to the 29.
Makes the stop. 2nd down,
2nd and 7. So El Dorado in front of the chains. Rester got 2 receivers to each side. You got to believe, RJ, though, they're just going to try to keep this on the ground, as you mentioned a second ago. Just keep that clock running. They're starting to bleed the play clock down even more.
Here's a big pass, trying to hook up with his wide receiver that time. And that time trying to hook up with DeAndre Burns.
You can see El Dorado's trying to take some shots down the field, and they're starting to get separation against this Greenwood secondary. They weren't breaking free in that first half. Whether it's fatigue or just the concept of the play, they're starting to get a little more room to work, especially on the deep outside third against this Bulldog defensive unit. Eventually, you got to believe Rester's going to hit on one of those.
So 3rd down and 7. Rester gonna hand it off to Plummer, straight up the middle. Still on his feet, cuts it back to the 21-yard line. That'll be a 1st down for El Dorado.
A nice job by Plummer to make it. A couple guys missed right at the hole. Tries to bounce things outside for the big play, but he gets the 1st down and moves the chains, and more importantly for El Dorado, because you can see they're slowing things down. That's going to take another few minutes off the clock.
1st down and 10 as we're nearing a minute to play in the 3rd quarter.
Just a light box for Greenwood. Only 4 defenders inside the tackle box. You've got the advantage. If you're El Dorado, just run it straight ahead like they do right there.
Here's a new running back in for El Dorado. That is P.J. Dinkins, who gets the carry, and he'll take it down for a 6-yard gain to bring up 2nd down.
Honestly, RJ, I don't think you get away from that. I think you just continue to do it until Greenwood puts more people in the box, and they just snapped it over the quarterback's head.
And Rester's going to get on it all the way back at the 37-yard line. That is a huge loss for El Dorado.
That is a big, big mistake. We saw that happen in the first half, and Rester had no chance to go up and get that one, as that could be the final play of the 3rd quarter if El Dorado chooses to be so, and it looks like they're going to. That's a momentum killer, and it could be what could have been the back-breaking drive for the Wildcats. Now they've got some work to do just to pick up a 1st down.
Yeah, they're going to have some things to talk over as they are going to head to the sideline a little bit early, and as they do, we'll take a break with them. We head to the 4th quarter with the score 20-10. El Dorado looking for their 1st state championship since 2013. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett, wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday Season. With our busy lives today, we often forget the greatest gift of Christmas. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. I hope all of us will take the time and share the love of Christ this season. May your holidays be filled with joy and blessings. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from all of us at Everett.
I think that it's great that PBS does the broadcasting for the sports here in Arkansas, mainly just because some people just can't make it to the game. You think about a grandmother or someone in your family that might just want to watch you on TV. If you love watching Arkansas Sports Championships on PBS, please make a gift today.
This month in Passport on the PBS video app.
Feels like a oneness, and it's refreshing.
Starring Cara Toynton and Julian Ovenden. Don't miss The Sound of Music.
And the American Pops for a star-studded holiday celebration of American jazz legend Ella Fitzgerald.
These and other shows from Arkansas PBS are available with Passport on the PBS video app.
If you love seeing these high school football championships televised and you want to keep seeing them in the future, please consider making a gift to Arkansas PBS today.
So El Dorado with the football. It's 3rd down and 26 after a big loss. Snapped one over the quarterback's head. Rester's going to look to throw. Rester going across the middle. It's intercepted. It's intercepted by Greenwood. Coming up with it once again for his 3rd interception of the ball game, Braden Skaggs.
He is a one-man demolishing crew for the passing game of El Dorado as Skaggs picks it off for the 3rd time, and that one by far the most impressive. That is a great shot at it. Just breaks on the football and lays out for it, and it keeps his Greenwood football team alive in this 6A title game, RJ.
So Greenwood gets the football back. Dean looking to throw downfield, has a man inside the 50-yard line, down to the 48.
Luke Brewer, a perfect throw, a great catch. The sophomore starting to settle in and certainly didn't look like a 10th grader with that throw.
Dean gonna hand it off, and we've got whistles and penalty flags.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's a prime example of what you were talking about, RJ. This doesn't seem like there's any flow to this game because you hit a big play, and then you get a false start. And it backs you up, and it just kills any momentum that your crowd has, that your sideline has. And now you got to settle back in and play from behind the chains.
So it'll be first down and 15, ball at the 47-yard line. 3 wide receivers to the top of your screen. As Dean's going to take the shotgun snap. He'll look to throw. It's a wobbly pass that is going to fall to the ground, but there's a penalty flag down as on the play, Aiden Kennan got taken to the ground by the corner that time. It was Danquez Shelton who took him to the ground.
That time is just an unfortunate event for Shelton as the ball was underthrown. So Brewer kind of works back through the defender, kind of initiates the contact, but is going to force the penalty.
The ruling on the field is the pass was tipped. Therefore, there is no defensive pass interference. Second down.
Well, I tell you, a penalty like that you have in a game like this, you have a mixture of boos and cheers all at the same time.
I think what Coach Chris Young's looking for is see if he can call a timeout and challenge if the ball was actually tipped.
So it's second. I don't know if you can.
Timeout.
Turnover scoring plays. We'll have to kind of get
that would not be a scoring play or a turnover because it was just an incomplete pass. That there was a penalty flag thrown on. I guess they can review.
So they call timeout to initiate a review. So if the ball's not tipped, it would be pass interference. So that penalty would stand.
So they're going to go to the booth. Let's see if it was tipped.
It definitely came out wobbly. If 15 came in there and might have got a hand on the quarterback's arm as the ball was coming through.
The problem is we don't, unless we can get a shot of that offensive line. Let's look. His arm got hit.
But is that the same thing as the ball being deflected? So
yeah.
Arms hit, is it the same thing as the ball being deflected? And I think that may be the interpretation of the rule here.
I'll be interested to see how this one turns out as the officials are looking at. I mean, it looks like it hits his arm, not the ball, and so I don't think that's going to overturn the penalty.
They're certainly looking at it. Here's going to be a great angle at it. So the arm is definitely hit. What you're talking about, RJ. Jaron Stewart hits the arm of Dean, the quarterback. But is that the same thing as a deflected pass? I don't know the definition of that.
Yeah.
And if this was basketball, the hand's part of the ball and all that good stuff. But football, it's completely different.
I don't know I guess I just don't know the rule well enough as far as when it comes to. We need to get Don Brodell up here, the director of officials, so he can be our Dean Blandino.
They're certainly taking their time with this. This may be the longest review I remember from the last couple seasons of having review here in the state finals. And obviously, this is
the best. That's the best shot right there. The end zone camera. That's the best shot of the arm being hit. So the officials have heard what they need to hear. So here's our head official, Colby Berna.
After review, the pass was not tipped. Therefore, we have defensive pass interference. The ball will be placed at the 38-yard line. The clock will start on the ready for play.
So the ball was never tipped. The arm was hit.
So that's not the same thing as what they're saying.
Yeah.
So Greenwood's going to get that timeout back. They get their challenge back. And more importantly, they move the football up deep into, not deep, but into El Dorado territory.
So if you see this overhead cam, if his arm, or if the ball gets hit, that's when it's tipped. But because they hit his arm, that's where the penalty is now incurred. So we'll reset as the ball is at the 38-yard line. It's 1st and 10 for Greenwood. Dean looking to throw. Goes left side, has a man. That's over to Kennan. Kennan's still on his feet out to the 26-yard line, and that'll be a 1st down for Greenwood.
That play was all started up front with great protection. El Dorado doesn't bring pressure, and when they've given Greenwood time to throw the ball, the Bulldogs offense has been able to move up and down the field. Problem for Greenwood is El Dorado's bringing pressure more times than not.
Here's a pass on 1st and 10. Down goes Dean.
The time they brought the extra rusher from the outside, Shelton, and he's able to get to the quarterback.
Shelton. Tacoy Stewart on the stop.
So Tacoy Stewart was there on the stop.
Shelton just fights through the running back, and as you mentioned, RJ, he splits that stack with Stewart.
Now here's the pass over to Brewer. Brewer gets out of bounds inside the 30 down to the 27-yard line.
Marquez Waller on the stop.
That'll bring up 3rd down for Greenwood.
This is a big drive for the Bulldogs. You got to believe they're in 4-down territory. Do they have a good kicker? You know they want to cap this drive off with a touchdown.
Dean under pressure again. He's taken down the backfield. That time for El Dorado's Tacoy Stewart.
Back-to-back sacks, or a two sacks and 3-play sequence for Stewart. And that takes them well out of field goal range. And now they're faced with a 4th and 20. And you got to believe on 4th and 20 in an empty backfield, they're going to bring some pressure.
5 wide in the formation. Dean looking to throw, steps up, goes down, big ball, has a man inside the 10-yard line.
What confidence to throw it to a freshman in that spot. Grant Carnes, 6 foot, 170, 9th grader, makes a huge play.
Here's Dean. Hands it, no, he's going to take it himself. Down to the 1-yard line.
It's a great job on the option read. We haven't seen the quarterback keep it much for Greenwood today. That time Dean pulls it from the belly of the running back, sees the opening, and gets it down inside the 2.
They're going to say it's officially at the 2-yard line. And, you know, going back to your comment about throwing it to a freshman, you've got a sophomore throwing to a freshman.
The future's always bright in Greenwood.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Slade Dean did not think, oh, I'm going to throw it to a freshman, because he's a guy that he's been playing with forever.
I mean, you talk about the talent in the pipeline at Greenwood. I mean, there's a reason they're going for their 11th title since 2000. They've got a quarterback who's in the 8th grade who's already got multiple Division I offers coming up in the next couple of years. I mean, the talent never seems to run out, but do they have enough talent in this game to take down a very, very impressive El Dorado team?
Official timeout.
And so now you've got an official timeout.
So he's got to come out. The injured player, at least for El Dorado, will come out for a play.
This is not a team timeout, though.
He said an official timeout. Getting Greenwood back on the field. You haven't had much success running the football straight ahead. Greenwood's still negative 38 yards rushing. So maybe you try something to the outside, maybe a quick flip to your receiver, maybe a speed sweep.
Slade Dean sends 3 guys to the right side. Gonna keep it himself. Works it into the end zone, touchdown.
I like the concept there. You get the defense thinking that you're going to run behind those 3 receivers you motion over. Instead, it's just a quarterback lead following his running back over the left side. And Greenwood just not going away as an El Dorado player down in the end zone.
Another player, it looks to be, Bobby, for El Dorado. Looks like Marquise Waller, the safety. But how about a big momentum for Slade Dean, the sophomore, to come in and drive his team down, and now is potentially going to be 3 points away from trying to tie this ball game.
This game is far from over. There's a lot of time left. Greenwood should have a timeout remaining as they get the one back for the challenge. The scoreboard says they don't have any, but man, these 2 teams are just slugging it out and duking it out every phase of the game. And as we expected, it's a lot lower scoring, but we kind of thought this would be a one-possession game in the fourth quarter, and that's exactly what we've got.
Okay, Ben Moy is going to be on to kick the extra point.
Waller certainly needing a lot of help to get off the field. He's been on several plays for that El Dorado defense. The play count has actually started to go up a little bit too. Greenwood's run 54 offensive plays. El Dorado's run 61. That's about average. We still got 9 minutes left in the game. So
yeah, we got an eternity.
And movement on both sides. We're going to see if that was induced by El Dorado.
Encroachment. Defense. That penalty's been declined. We'll retry.
You're going to ask yourself, okay, why would you decline a penalty that's going to give you half the goal and the extra point? It messes up the routine of a kicker. Kickers are odd birds. So you got to have a routine, and so they're used to having that ball on the line of the 10 where you kick the extra point, and so you don't change that routine for your snapper, your holder, or your kicker.
So Moy's kick is up and good. We've got a 3-point game. 9:25 to play in this one. El Dorado 20, Greenwood 17. You're watching it on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Thanks, George. Appreciate it. At Big Red Stores, we're always proud to sponsor, support, and partner up with many events and activities throughout the community. Among them, high school championships throughout the state of Arkansas. At Big Red Stores, our team members are always ready to assist you to make your visit with us a pleasant one. And at Big Red Stores, we recognize that none of our support or ability to serve the community is possible without you. That's why at Big Red Stores, you're always the MVP of the Big Red team. Big Red Stores, now more convenient than ever.
Centennial Bank is committed to you. Since our founding in 1999, we've become one of the nation's most trusted banks by remembering that you come first, by empowering our communities to reach their highest potential through our dedication to local charity, education, and exceptional service, because we are proud to call Arkansas home. Banking with you in mind. Centennial Bank, member FDIC.
For a copy of this state championship game or any of the others, go to mmproductions.net to place your order. Get that 8-man championship game from Thursday night, 5A title game from last night. Of course, you got 7A tonight.
I kind of want to watch that 8-man championship game again. That was a lot of fun. If you missed that,
3 hours and 45 minutes.
If you missed the 8-man championship on Friday night, I would go back and watch it if I were you. As the kick is on the way, and it'll be taken short at the 11-yard line. Bringing it up for El Dorado is their up man, Dinkins, and Dinkins will go out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Let's head down the sideline and check in with Kyle Sutherland. He's got an injury update.
Guys, it's been, as you can see, speaking of injuries, they battled them all year, Greenwood has, and it looks like LJ is going to be out for the rest of the game. Of course, Hunter isn't there anymore either, but there's been no panic whatsoever, mainly because they've battled this the entire year. They rallied around Slade Dean for this game, and now they're right back in it.
Thank you, Colm.
LJ Robbins, 9 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown, and his day's done for the Bulldogs.
1st and 10. Rester going to hand it off to Plummer. He'll pick up a couple yards, and that's it.
64 and 15 converge for Greenwood. Landon Kilgore and Parker Gill sandwich the running back there, minimal gain. And those 3 down linemen have been put in a pretty good day's work already. They're being tasked to slow down a dynamic rushing attack, and they've been up to the challenge.
3 down front for Greenwood as Rester is going to take the shotgun snap. He gave it back to Plummer. Plummer, he took it out past the 40. They were juggling who was going to keep it.
In the first half, we talked about there's a lot of contact between the quarterback and running back. That time, Plummer wanted the football. Rester wanted to keep the football. They couldn't decide and finally gave it up to his running back. Luckily, that one didn't end up on the ground.
3rd down and 2 for El Dorado. Or 3, excuse me. 3rd down and 3.
He's got to pay attention to Rester.
And give it to Plummer. He gets the first down out to the 45-yard line.
Those first 3 plays are just trusting your offensive line, trusting your dynamic running back to pick up a first down, keep that clock moving.
8:07 and counting.
It's honestly, there's too much time left in this game, RJ, to bleed the clock down, to let the play clock go all the way down, because what happens if you do that, you don't score, Greenwood goes down to score, and all of a sudden you don't have enough time to potentially put a ball in the end zone.
It only works, though, is if you are able to stick it in the end zone.
That's right.
So you're essentially taking a gamble to get that done, and you really trust your offense. Plummer going to get hit in the backfield. Eludes one defender and gets back to the line of scrimmage.
That may be the best 0-yard run of his season. he is gobbled up in the backfield. 2 or 3 Bulldog defenders had a chance at him, and he did everything he could to just get back to the line of scrimmage. Those are the type of plays that don't show up on highlight films and reels, but that's an impressive job just to get back and limit that to a no gain.
2nd down and 10. Rester looks to the sideline. Going to take the snap, give it to Plummer. He'll forge forward for a 2-yard gain.
This is huge coming up. Going to be 3rd and long. Oh, correction, 2nd and long. That's my mistake. No, it is 3rd.
That's 3rd. Well, they are going to reset it to 2nd down. Now back to 3rd. The guy on the sideline has no idea what he's doing.
There's too many buttons on that down marker.
3rd down. Going to look to throw Rester. Now going to take off and run. Out past the 50. He's short of the first down.
Now this is going to be a very interesting call, RJ. It's going to be 4th and about 3 at the 48 of Greenwood. Do you trust your offense to keep them out there and go for it and potentially give up great field position? I say yes.
I think Coach Jones is going to agree with you.
You trust Plummer, you trust Rester to make a play on the ground.
4th down and 3. Rester in the shotgun. War Memorial Stadium, everybody's on their feet.
There's a lot of space for the slot receiver to the top of your screen. Maybe a quick out.
Down to 2 on the play clock. They get the snap off. Pass, caught, first down.
They don't go quick out, but they do go quick slant to that slot. I thought the defensive back was just giving up a little too much ground to not try to take advantage of it. Great read by Rester. And it's a huge first down for the Wildcats.
That was Jackie Washington who made the catch. He's their leading wide receiver this year. Probably one of the biggest catches in the game so far for the Wildcats. So it's 1st and 10, and that's going to keep the clock rolling at 5:15.
Greenwood has just one timeout left. It's way too early to think about using it. The first down's generally good for almost 2.5, 3 minutes worth of clock time. So one more first down could put Greenwood in a real bind.
And now Rester's going to call a timeout.
Play clock is winding down on him.
So with 4:56 to play here in the ball game, El Dorado leads at 20-17. Let's go down to Kyle Sutherland on the sideline. Kyle, our tension's a little high on both sidelines right now.
I think I'm going to need a new eardrum, guys. I'm telling you, this crowd is just absolutely going nuts. You can even hear the El Dorado sideline, but we talked about at the beginning of the game that it could be a 45-40 type. It might not be that. It's more so defense, but it is just absolutely electric down here on the field.
Don't forget, coming up tonight, we've got the 7A state championship game between Bryant and Fayetteville right here on Arkansas PBS Sports. It'll be a good one, much like this one has been, Bobby. We knew that probably the 2 best games of the weekend were going to be today, and so far, game 1 is not disappointed.
Yeah, this was when the schedule came out, the finals, and then obviously the brackets played out like they did, and we saw these 2 teams squaring off, and then the game you mentioned tonight with Fayetteville Bryant, we knew it's going to be 2 really, really good contests, and this one has certainly not disappointed.
1st and 10 with the ball at the 43-yard line. We're under 5 to play here in the ball game. Rester's in the shotgun with 4 wide. Gonna fake the handoff and keep it. Gets out of one tackle, still on his feet. Still going, he's drugged down at the 41-yard line. It's a pickup of 2 yards on the play.
What El Dorado's been able to do time and time again is avoid that first tackle. So many times today has Greenwood gotten their hands on a ball carrier in the backfield. That time it was number 15, Parker Gill. He just could not hang on to Rester long enough for the troops to rally to him. And doesn't seem like a whole lot, but instead of a loss of 2, that's a gain of 2. And it also keeps the drive moving, keeps the clock moving, but it makes second and third down a little more manageable.
2nd down and 8. Here's Rester. Gonna hand it off to Plummer. Straight ahead. He's gonna fall forward down to the 36-yard line.
It's going to take us within 4 minutes. They're not going to have to snap it till about 3.5 on the clock. It's 3rd and short. It's that offensive line's doing the job for El Dorado. They're getting just enough, 3.5 yards of carry on this drive, and that's really all you need to move the chains. And Greenwood's 3 down front, and the light box has not been able to slow it down. They've been able to slow it down, I guess is a better term for it. They haven't been able to stop it.
There's a pickup of 5 yards, so it's 3rd and 3. Rester has 9 on the play clock. Going to keep it himself. Going to try to outrun the outside linebacker. Gets past one defender. Dives forward to the 35. Got a yard.
It's a great job of getting out there and setting the edge and forcing Rester back to the inside. Again, though, Rester broke that initial tackle, that initial contact. I think it was Sebastian Crum, the defensive back, the senior, was the first man there, but he couldn't bring him down and able to pick up an extra yard, and now we're inside 3 minutes.
So it's 4th down and 2. El Dorado's going to go for it again.
If I'm Greenwood, I'm thinking about bringing an extra man in the box and see if you can bring a little pressure.
3 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Rester gives it off. Right side. Running lane to the 10. 5. Walk the dog. Touchdown.
Greenwood sold out to stop the inside run, and Plummer just bounced it to the outside, and nobody was there, and he finishes it off and does the rest. His big touchdown run, 4th of the game, 178 yards for the El Dorado running back, and that one might have been just enough to get Eldo on that championship platform.
Great job cutting it outside. And just the top half speed as the extra point is up and good. El Dorado, they now lead it 27-17 with 2:36 to play here in the 4th quarter. Let's go back down to Kyle Sutherland on the field. Kyle, the electricity on that El Dorado sideline has been jacked up a notch.
It's even just taken up about 3 more than it was, guys. And I'll tell you, that's even though the El Dorado offense hasn't been its typical self, they stepped up right when they needed to, and they might have just put this one on ice now.
Those 3-yard gains just wear on you as a defense. They grind on you, and that's what they're built for. You pop a big one when you need it the most, and Plummer has been so impressive today. Just the number of tackles that he's broke. I'd love to see the yards after contact for him today. 178 total yards, 4 touchdowns, averaging 7 yards a carry, and none obviously bigger than that last one. That might have put this game away.
So for El Dorado, on to kick, you've got Jimmy Adogdu.
Well, they've lined up in this formation a bunch, RJ, and he fakes like he's going to kick it, and then the linebacker, the big 11, Patrick Sixby, has boomed it off a few times.
The sky kick's going to come. They're going to fair catch it at the 35-yard line, and so that's where Greenwood will have 2 minutes and 36 seconds to try to get down the field and score as they trail by 10 to El Dorado.
Here, if you're Greenwood, you want to obviously go as quickly as possible. You just got to get points. It doesn't have to be a touchdown here. Just put yourself in position to score and try to prolong this game.
Slade Dean, the quarterback. And he's taken down in the backfield. He was hit on his blind side that time by Demarion Rester.
That's what we saw a lot in the first half, RJ. Just did not identify the pressure coming from the outside. He comes untouched from the left side of your screen and absolutely destroys the young quarterback.
It was an 18-yard loss. Now we've got penalties on the play.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Bobby, they're going the wrong way.
Yep. It's tough. I mean, this is what El Dorado's been doing to him all day, though. I mean, negative 44 yards on the ground. You're talking about Slade, the backup quarterback, negative 30 rushing. The starting quarterback, negative 35.
Here's a pass that ball was hit and out of the arm of Slade Dean. They're just pinning back their ears and going after him.
It's an obvious passing situation. It's been that way for most of this game because Greenwood hasn't been able to establish anything on the ground, and they're just winning the one-on-one battles. That time, Sixby, the linebacker, comes as a late rusher, untouched, and gets a big shot on the quarterback. It's just been that time and time again, and these Greenwood offensive players are going to need an ice bath after this one because, I mean, they are taking a pounding.
Third down, 23. Here comes the pressure. Dean, and he's swarmed up in the backfield. There is a penalty flag down at the 32-yard line.
Again, though, RJ just untouched. And coming off the edge, he doesn't make the play, but forces him back into the other defenders. Now we'll have to check the flag, which is well downfield up at the 32.
That time on the sack for El Dorado, it was Emmaus Young.
Holding, defense, 10-yard penalty, replay third down.
So that's a big penalty. Instead of dropping them for another 5 or 6, 7-yard loss, we mark it off 10 the other way from the previous spot.
I don't even think El Dorado cares about putting a safety back because they're sending 5 and 6 guys after Slade Dean right now, and Greenwood just can't block all of them.
Yeah, and Greenwood's content with staying with going 5 wide, and El Dorado says, all right, we're going to bring 5, and I hope you blow an assignment, and that's so far that's been happening.
6 guys come after Dean. He takes a big hit and overthrows an intended target. That time trying to hook up with his wide receiver, Grant Carnes.
And just over and over and over again, the tip of the cap to the El Dorado defensive staff. I mean, they have disguised their pressure. Greenwood's offensive front and their quarterback haven't been able to figure out where that pressure is coming from. And more times than not, I mean, you're talking free rushers to a young quarterback who's getting just crushed every time he puts the football in the air.
It's 4th down and 14.
I thought at some point you keep an extra blocker in, keep a running back in to help protect, and Greenwood hasn't gotten away from it yet, and El Dorado's just taking advantage of it.
Now we got a penalty flag back at the 49-yard line.
Play clock it. Don't worry if there's too many men on the field.
Illegal substitution on the defense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So they had too many men out there. And again, I mean, if you're Greenwood, you're going to send four outs. You got 6 protectors, including the running back in the backfield, but El Dorado's always seems to be bringing one more.
Here we go, 4th down and 8. Slade Dean going to throw it, and it's incomplete. And there's no flags down. El Dorado will take over with 1:51 left here in the ball game.
Sixby, the linebacker, number 11, again untouched right through the left side of the offensive line, forces the early throw, the errant throw, and now El Dorado knows it. They can just take a knee or two, and this game is going to be over in that 6A state championship, heading down south for the first time in almost a decade.
Off the field after the completion of the game this afternoon. Presentation of awards.
Officials are trying to get El Dorado to make their way onto the field as they'll take the possession with 1:51 left here in the 4th quarter.
Just a great defensive game plan and great defensive execution for El Dorado. They deserve the credit today. Sure, they scored 27 points, put up 330 yards of offense. Their defense won them a championship today.
1st and 10, Rester gonna hand it off to Plummer. He's gonna take it straight up the middle, and he'll pick up about 4 yards on the play.
Stop is made by Tyler Crossno.
Now, you're exactly right, Bobby, though. If you've got to give an MVP for this game, you got to just give it to that entire defense.
There's no doubt. I mean, you could throw a dart at the roster right now and point to someone on that defensive side and say, yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could talk about it's Stewart or Sixby. I mean, I'm probably going to go to Shadarius Palmer. 4 touchdowns is tough to overlook in a state title game. But
and 181 yards.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough to overlook that. But, man, those guys up front, it's 94 Stewart, 96 Cook. Thompson's made a big play back there. Young. I mean, it's just it hasn't been one guy, and that's what's been so impressive about it.
Now, El Dorado was going to go into a victory formation.
Take a delay.
Tell you, how many penalties do we have now?
Too many. That's the 16th on El Dorado. You'll talk to Stephen Jones tomorrow, and he's going to ask, how in the world did we win a state championship with 16 penalties?
Yeah. That's 25 penalties all told for the game.
It's not going to matter.
Nope, as they go into the victory formation with 1:01. Rester takes it, and he'll put a knee to the ground, and clock will roll.
After Stephen Jones, he's used to it. He won a title when he's at Junction City, but head on a swivel time. That ice bucket's coming.
Down to 42 seconds. Been a long time since the state championship was in El Dorado, Arkansas. Scott Reed was the head coach over at El Dorado the last time they were able to hoist the trophy. But in about 25 seconds, they'll get to do it again. As the knee goes down, Stephen Jones gets a big hug from his team, from his coaches. Down to 10 seconds as everyone's making their way on the field. There's Rester right there, and in 2021, the Class 6A state championship is headed down to South Arkansas. The El Dorado Wildcats are your Class 6A state champions for the first time since 2013.
They are the hottest team in 6A. They haven't lost since week 4 of the season, putting up 48 points a game, but today they did it with the defense. Those guys on that side of the football came out, had the best game plan of the season, and executed the best of the season. Because you look at their schedule, RJ, and maybe a handful of times they held teams to less than 17 points. Twice all season did they beat someone or hold someone to 17 points or less.
Yeah, that was an impressive performance. And really, though, Bobby, look, both these teams need to be given credit. The defense for both of them played outstanding because, once again, we've mentioned this so many times. We talked all about the offense coming in, about how both these teams had just great offenses, and the defenses showed out today, and it was a lot of fun. We'll come back here in a moment. We will talk with the head football coach of the El Dorado Wildcats, Stephen Jones, as you're watching the Centennial Bank State Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
During the past year, we've been traversing the natural state with our cinematic drone. From lakes and rivers, waterfalls, scenic byways, mountains, swamps, overlooks, and towering rock formations. This unique documentation of all 4 seasons from all 4 corners of the state with an aerial cinematic perspective will give you, the viewer, an Arkansas adventure like never before.
Tonight at 9:30.
Broadcast of this championship game is made possible by
the Cherokee Nation, our people, our culture, our history, our future. To learn more, go to visitcherokeenation.com and say hello to the Cherokee Nation.
The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Riggs Rents, Arkansas's rental equipment provider, from aerial lifts to dirt moving machines and everything in between. Our family-owned and operated business takes pride in serving our employees and customers. Riggs Rents, a proud supporter of Arkansas PBS Sports.
Farmers and Merchants Bank and the Bank of Fayetteville share the mission of Arkansas PBS to enrich and empower all Arkansans. Community, dignity, respect. That's what me banking is all about. More at mebanking.com.
Local broadcast of Arkansas PBS programming is made possible in part by Community Bakery. Scratch-made breads, pastries, cakes, treats, and locally roasted coffees. Served daily at 2 locations in Little Rock, 1200 Main and 270 Shackelford.
Is number 72, Devin Walter.
Back here at War Memorial Stadium, look at Coach Jones right there. Got his wife, got his kids out there on the turf, and you don't think this one means a lot to him. After winning a state championship at Junction City, now being able to do it here at El Dorado. I mean, it's been since 2013, Bobby, since El Dorado's won a state championship. This is a school that coming into this game had only won, they had won 9 state championships, but it's been a while since they've done it.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long 8 years. They've been in contention, but they've kind of fallen out of that power echelon, if you want to talk about, in Class 6A. They proved today that they deserve to be considered the best team in 6A because they went out and earned it as Greenwood gets their runner-up trophy.
We'll go ahead and spill the beans a little bit, but Shadarius Plummer is your MVP of the ball game. 26 carries, 181 total yards of offense with 4 touchdowns. Bobby, not a bad day.
Not a bad day, and they've got the hardwood to show for it. And just the effort that Shadarius Plummer showed. Carry after carry after carry. The yards after contact had to be through the roof. I would almost even guess that half of his yardage came after contact today because he had to grind out and work for everything he got. And credit to those offensive linemen up front. Rester did a great job extending plays, but in the end, they just made enough plays to beat a really, really banged-up Greenwood, but that's not taking anything away from what El Dorado did today.
Final numbers today, passing, it was Shamar Rester. 11 of 25 for 109 yards. He did throw 3 picks in this game, no touchdowns. Plummer ran at 26 carries, 181 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Rester had 101 carries for Greenwood. Hunter Houston finished the day 10 of 20, 106 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Slade Dean went 8 of 15 for 161 yards and an interception. Cameron Crone led the way in rushing, 6 carries for 22 yards. And L.J. Robbins led in the receiving category, 9 receptions, 117 and a touchdown. He was followed by Luke Brewer with 4 for 71. And Aiden Kennan, 4 for 51. Total offense for the ball game, it was Greenwood with 223 yards of total offense and El Dorado with 336 yards of total offense. But a lot of penalties in this one. It was a sloppy one as El Dorado had 16 penalties for 129 yards. El Dorado had 9 for 66 yards. You heard that right. There was 25 penalties in a state championship game. Kyle is down on the field trying to get with Coach as I know Derek and Kyle are trying to pull Coach out. It's a chaotic scene. And there we go. Kyle is with Stephen Jones now. Take it away, Kyle.
Stephen, you guys won this with defense like we talked about at the break, but I want you to run us through that last play there where Shadarius took it 35 yards and essentially sealed the game.
I mean, at halftime, we put on the back of our offensive line and just felt like if we could establish the line of scrimmage, they were playing us light in the tackle box, we could run the football, we can get out of here on top. And he hit it on the play side. It just broke free, and it was an awesome run.
And talk about what it means to the community of El Dorado. You guys had it was 8 years ago that you last won your state title and won 4 around that time, and really in the last 15 years or so. Talk about what it means to the community to be in this position again.
It's everybody. I mean, it's administration, it's teachers, it's students. Our student section's awesome. Players, coaches, cheerleaders, band. I'm leaving people out. I mean, it's a football town. I mean, it means the world. It means the world.
Coach, congratulations. Go celebrate with your team.
Thank you, Kyle. As you can tell, he's happy right now. He's trying to thank everybody for the success that El Dorado's had this year. But it was a heck of a ball game. El Dorado wins it 27-17 to claim the Class 6A state championship. Bobby, final thoughts?
Defense. I mean, it's all it was. We thought we were going to see 90 points. We saw, 44 points. Oh. And I think we're lucky to see that. The 8 combined turnovers, they just made the plays. And El Dorado, I can't say enough about the job they did as a staff to set them up in position. And Greenwood, they're Greenwood. They're not going to get out of what they do. And El Dorado took advantage of that because they were just going to continue to bring pressure. They consistently brought one more, had a free rusher, and made life an absolute nightmare for the Bulldog offense.
Well, it was a fun one. And you know what? what? We're going to have another fun one tonight. You want to come back and join us here on Arkansas PBS Sports at 6:30 tonight because it's the 7A state championship game. Bryant's trying to get 4 in a row at the state championship level. Fayetteville's they've got another plan, and they're going to come down from Fayetteville and have a heck of a crowd, heck of a ball game. I'm looking forward to it.
It's the matchup everybody wanted to see all season long. It's the best team from the West, the best team from the Central, and the state's largest classification. You can't ask for really anything more than this. I think we've got a chance to see a game just as good as this one tonight.
Well, stick around. We'll be back at 6:30 for that ball game. It'll be Bryant taking on Fayetteville. But as we wrap up this one here at War Memorial Stadium, your final score, El Dorado 27. It was the Greenwood Bulldogs 17 for Bobby Swafford, Kyle Sutherland. I'm RJ Hawk, and you've been watching the Centennial Bank State Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.